Chapter 341. I was just trying to scare him. Kehehe, wait for it, Sejun. I'll find it again. Once Sejun acquired the land deeds for the 57th and 62nd floors of the tower from the Black Rabbit, Aileen hurriedly began using the destruction detector to search for other powers of destruction. It was tough, but Kehehe to be on the same team as Sejun. The thought of completing quests with Sejun made Aileen happy. While Aileen was busily searching for the power of destruction inside the Black Tower, Wulong, the crystal orb vibrated. Then, the aura of the green dragon Brachio-Iorg has infiltrated the Black Tower. The aura of green dragon Brachio-Iorg is focusing towards Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Tower Farmer Park Sejun has sustained critical injuries due to exposure to the aura of green dragon Brachio-Iorg. Red alarms appeared. What? My Sejun has critical injuries. Aileen hurriedly used the crystal orb to find Sejun on the 57th floor, where Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax were fervently massaging the unconscious Sejun. What do I do about our Sejun? The situation was dire. At that moment, as the green dragon Brachio-Iorg gets closer to the Black Tower, the aura targeting Tower Farmer Park Sejun intensifies. If you do not block the approach of green dragon Brachio-Iorg quickly, Tower Farmer Park Sejun could die. A new red alarm appeared. After checking the alarm, Aileen realized what she had to do first. She must stop Grandma Brachio from coming this way. Grandpa's help, our Sejun has fainted. She quickly called Kaiser and the other 3 dragons for help. Then, Brachio, you dare touch our Sejun. Touching our Sejun, has this old hag gone crazy? Guys, let's hurry. Already on my way. Kaiser, Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr's bodies took off from their respective towers. On the outskirts of destruction, Lord Halfas, following the green dragon, the leaders of the black, white, red, and purple dragons are all heading towards us. What? At Hydra's report as he watched over the 9 towers with his 9 heads, Halfas fell into thought. Could this be a preemptive strike? The leaders of the dragon tribes, who would not move unless attacked first, seemed to be attacking based on their trust in the black fruit. Kekek, if they only trust the power of that black fruit, then this time it's your defeat. Hydra, take Violet and Leviathan and eliminate the dragons. Yes, leave it to me. Following Halfa's orders, Hydra confidently responded and took Violet and Leviathan towards the dragons. Black Tower, 57th floor. Chairman Park, wake up, meow. Kyung. Dad, wake up. Hyung, wake up. Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax desperately treated Sejun, calling out to him. However, as Brachio approached closer, Sejun's condition worsened. Chairman Park, hang in there, meow. Kyung. Dad, hang in there. Sejun, Hyung. The 3 exhausted all their efforts to treat Sejun, but as Brachio flew rapidly towards the Black Tower, Sejun's condition deteriorated even further. Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax were frantic in treating Sejun's body when Kaying. Hey, wake up, you have to feed me, you can't die. Realizing the gravity of Sejun's condition, Fenrir made a bold decision. Kaying, eat this. He forcefully placed the fragment of his core into Sejun's mouth. Naturally, Sejun, whose stats did not exceed 5,000, could not swallow the core fragment. However, squeeze. Please swallow it. Fenrir pressed the core into Sejun's mouth with his paw, filled with desperate hope. Swoosh. Thanks to that, Fenrir's core fragment smoothly slid down Sejun's throat. Gulp. Thus, Sejun forcibly swallowed Fenrir's core fragment. Kaying. It's done, my core makes sure to save him. Wulong. Reacting to Fenrir's desperate wish, his core fragment began to melt and absorb into Sejun's body. Brachio, stop. Yes, calm down. Ramter and Tyr, who were near the Green Tower, arrived first and blocked Brachio's way. Calm down. Do I look like I can calm down right now? My Ophelia has become a slave. Brachio shouted back in an agitated voice at their words. Slave is just a term. It does not mean much. Anyway, our Sejun is too weak to even stand before Ophelia. Yes, for now, withdraw the anger directed at Sejun and let's resolve this through dialogue. Otherwise, our Sejun will die. Kaiser and Kellyan, who arrived in the meantime, also tried to calm down the agitated Brachio. What, die? What are you talking about? Brachio asked in a bewildered voice at Kellyan's words. I was just trying to scare him. Even though she was angry, she never intended to kill the tower farmer who could cultivate the black beans, needed to fight the apostle of destruction. What, you were trying to scare our Sejun? Our Sejun is incredibly weak. Our Sejun is already dead, isn't he? Don't say such unlucky things. He probably just fainted. Since Brachio has withdrawn her energy, it should be fine. Yes, it should be. Brachio didn't know that Sejun was so weak that the dragons would be anxious about the small amount of aura she sent to scare him. How weak is this guy Sejun that they are reacting like this? While Brachio was dumbfounded by Sejun's weakness. Smoky, red mist surrounded them. And then, it's been a while, O dragons. The red mist transformed into 3 apostles of destruction. Apostle of destruction of the 10th seat, the 9-headed serpent, Hydra. Apostle of destruction of the 11th seat, the amethyst giant, Violet. Apostle of destruction of the 12th seat, the serpent that summons tsunamis, Leviathan. Seal release. As soon as they appeared, they released all the seals they could. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Google. Suddenly, their powers amplified 8-fold after releasing the 4th seal. The power of those with the 4th seal released was comparable to when the dragons ate the black beans. But the power of Kaiser, Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr, who simultaneously swallowed 5 types of beans including the black beans, far exceeded their levels. Before leaving the tower to stop Brachio, just in case, take these. Aileen handed each one of them a transcendence black bean that Sejun had left behind. But make sure to pay me later. Of course, it wasn't for free. You have consumed a transcendence black bean, plus 2. The dragons, having eaten the 2 enhanced transcendence black beans, had their powers amplified not 12 times, but 16 times. Quang. The 4 dragons easily disposed of the 3 apostles of destruction and clang. Collect. They hurriedly collected tower coins. And Brachio will continue the rest of the talk later. Coolio. They started blasting breath at the surrounding red mists. They needed to destroy as much of the destructive power as possible during the 4 minutes when their power was enhanced and clang to collect many tower coins to cover the cost of the black beans they used. Watching the 4 of them collecting tower coins. Coolio. Brachio also subtly joined in collecting tower coins. As Sejun struggled to open his eyes. Chairman Park. Kyung. Dad. Hyung. Theo Kyungi and Ajax hugged Sejun as they called out to him. And Kaying. Hey, I saved you, so make sure to serve more delicious meals from now on. Fenrir boasted, looking at Sejun. But, thanks guys. Sejun expressed his gratitude to everyone except Fenrir. It was natural for him to think so, as Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax were usually the ones to treat him when he fainted. Kaying. Hey, I told you I saved you. Thump. Fenrir, feeling wronged, stamped his front paws on the ground to strongly appeal to Sejun, but Kaying. It hurts. He only hurt his own paws, while Fenrir was feeling aggrieved. But what does this mean? You have forcibly consumed a purified fragment of Fenrir's core. The purified fragment of Fenrir's core is healing your body. Your body has returned to normal. During the healing process, 22% of the purified Fenrir's core fragment was lost. The remaining purified piece of Fenrir's core in your body is now linked to the tower system. The detection range for finding other fragment of Fenrir's core has increased. The detection range for finding the Apostle of Destruction's power has increased. Sejun, reading the message, realized that he had survived because he swallowed Fenrir's core fragment. And who fed me Fenrir's core fragment? He asked the three he was holding. However, it wasn't me, meow. I was healing Chairman Park's rotten face, meow. Kyung. Kyungi was massaging Dad's belly. Theo and Kyungi answered, shaking their heads. Then was it Ajax? No, I was massaging your leg. Really? Then who saved me? As Sejun wondered. Kaying. He saw Fenrir, who was busily licking his sore paw. Was it Blackie? It was indeed because of Blackie that Sejun had been carrying around Fenrir's core fragment all along. Ajax, please heal Blackie. Since his paw seemed hurt, Sejun asked Ajax to heal it. Okay, Hyung, recovery. Ajax used a healing spell on Fenrir. Kaying. Hey, I saved you, so treat me well from now on. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive. Fenrir leaned against Sejun's leg and barked, wagging his tail vigorously. Hehe, did our Blackie have a hard time? Kaying. While Sejun was having a healing time, hugging the whining Fenrir, Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax. A quest has occurred. Quest, the plum trees are rotting due to the power of corruption. Eliminate the source of the power of corruption and heal the plum trees. Reward, recognized as the rightful owner of the land deed. A land deed quest appeared. So this was a plum tree farm, huh? Sejun said, looking at the withered tree, but the source of the corrupt power, where do I find that? Sejun looked around suspiciously to see if there was anything unusual. However, there were only withered plum trees around. Then, the power of Apostle of Destruction of the 8th seat, the demon of corruption, Delia, has been detected 5 km northwest. A message about detecting the power of the Apostle of Destruction appeared. An Apostle of Destruction. And a demon of corruption. It definitely seemed to be the source of the corrupt power. Toryang. Sejun called Toryang and moved northwest. And, Kekek, I will corrupt you too. He encountered a demon with a grotesque face and a pair of black wings. Ajax, burn it. Okay, Hyung, hellfire. At Sejun's command, Ajax incinerated Delia. Guard Ajax Mame has defeated Apostle of Destruction of the 8th seat, the demon of corruption, Delia. You've gained 10 million experience points, which is 50% of the experience points earned by Guard Ajax Mame. Ajax Mame is your slave. You gain an additional 5 million experience points, which is 25% of the experience points earned by Ajax Mame. You have leveled up. You have acquired 1 bonus stat. Your strength has increased by 10. Thanks to that, Sejun leveled up to level 79. And, Kaying, why was that idiot just standing there, foolishly getting herself killed? Once again it was Fenrir, the master of team kills, who had unknowingly contributed to the team kill. Chapter 342, Why Aren't They Making Me Work? 99th floor of the Green Tower. How dare you enslave me? Kuolololo. Enraged, Ophelia turned the 99th floor of the tower into a wasteland with her breath. Ophelia vented her anger by continuously unleashing her breath. A little while later. But the tower farmer from the Black Tower must have been surprised to see the crops I grew, right? As her anger subsided a bit, Ophelia spoke with a confident expression. It was surprising indeed, surprisingly tasteless. As a tower farmer, Ophelia took great pride in her farming skills. You know now that I'm the superior tower farmer, right? Ophelia, thinking she had surpassed Sejun, crunched on a carrot she had grown herself. Though tasteless, the carrot increased her magic power by 1. After eating about 10 such tasteless carrots. Why aren't they making me work? I can do it well. Ophelia spoke with a slightly anxious voice. Could it be that my crops were subpar? No, it's because the crops I grew are too splendid and overwhelming. Ophelia was deep in thought. She was the type to exhaust herself with her worries. 57th floor of the Black Tower. Hyung, here's a coin. Ajax handed Sejun a rusted coin he found after defeating the Apostle of Destruction, the demon of corruption, Delia. Then, you have acquired a coin containing the power of the Apostle of Destruction, the demon of corruption, Delia. The purified core fragment of Fenrir absorbs the power of the demon of corruption, Delia, contained in the coin. Skill Fermentation LV, 1 acquired. A notification appeared. Being in core of Apostle of Destruction 2, it could absorb powers. Fermentation. Sejun acquired the fermentation skill. Skill Fermentation LV, 1. Slightly speeds up the fermentation process needed for food. Slightly deepens the flavor of fermented food. Well, Sejun cheered as he checked the skill. It was a great skill for cooking. He wanted to hunt more demon of corruption. Does it work with other coins too? Sejun tried holding other Apostle of Destruction coins. However, there was no reaction from the other coins. What's this? As Sejun pondered, the lifespan of 5 plum trees has ended. A notification about the death of plum trees appeared. Although he had defeated the demon of corruption Delia, the corrupt power she had spread remained. Let's go back, everyone. Sejun quickly led his companions back to the plum tree farm. Healing team deploy. As they arrived at the farm, Sejun called out. Puhut understood, meow. Pip pip, yes. Theo and a golden bat began to heal the plum trees. Pip pip, nobody knows my secret, TL. Everyone on Earth knows, and Flamey Two-Face. The golden bat sang from the sky. Chairman Park, move faster, meow. Theo clung to Sejun's leg, urging him on. Okay. Click. Farmer's Warm Touch LV, 7 is activated. The plum trees are slightly healed while touched. As Sejun approached to heal the plum trees. Thump thump. Theo also used a healing spell on the trees with his front paws. While Sejun, Theo, and the golden bat spent hours healing the plum trees. Kyurorung. Fenrir was sleeping in Sejun's pocket, and Kyung. Hello, this is my dad. Say hello, this is my Hyung. Kyungi and Ajax were recruiting monsters to work on the plum tree farm. They were turtles that walked upright with long limbs. Hello. Yeah. The two introduced the turtles to Sejun. Kyung. From now on, you guys will protect this place. Yeah, if you don't guard it well, it won't be fun at all. The turtles were instructed on how to manage the farm. Hehe, my kids are doing well. A little later, the remaining 295 plum trees on the farm have been treated. You have completed the quest. As a reward for completing the quest, you are recognized as the rightful owner of the land deed for the plum tree farm on the 57th floor of the Black Tower. The land deed skill, Farm Information LV, Max is activated. When Sejun's land deed quest was completed. Chairman Park, I've got all the stamps, meow. Theo returned with the turtles' stamps on the employment contract. They agreed on a wage of 3 fish and 5 tower coins per day. Then I'm counting on you. Yes, don't worry, we will manage it with all our might. Thanks to the high wages, the turtles were very enthusiastic. Upon entrusting the plum tree farm to the turtles and arriving at the waypoint. Welcome! A giant turtle, already subdued by Kyungi and Ajax, greeted Sejun and his companions in a tightly disciplined manner. Black Tower 57th floor boss, Shield Master Toad. Despite his name, Shield Master, he had no shield and his shell was cracked in several places. It seemed he had been broken in a scuffle with the two. Use this at least. Feeling somewhat guilty, Sejun handed over a dragon warrior helmet. Clicking. And placed his hand on a red crystal to register the waypoint. And then, SHRRRK. He unfolded the land deed and moved to the 62nd floor. As Sejun disappeared, clicking, Todo put on the Dragon Warrior helmet given by Sejun. Black Tower 57th floor boss, Helmet Master Toad. His name changed. Well, we'll be going now. See you in a bit. Take care. As the effects of the Transcendence Black Beans ended, Kaiser, Kellyan, and Ramter hurried back to their territories. Brachio, let's go. Yeah. Tyr and Brachio, heading in a different direction, moved together. A little later. So Sejun, it's already the Purple Tower. Brachio, take care. Yeah, you too. Tyr, who had been busily chattering alone, noticed the Purple Tower and said goodbye to Brachio and returned to his own territory. And so Brachio was left alone. So, this Sejun guy healed the poison of the purple dragons with crops, found the power of darkness for the black dragons and the power of light for the white dragons, and even solved the drought of the Red Tower. She pondered over the accomplishments of Sejun that Tyr had mentioned. Is this even possible for a mere tower farmer? But there was no reason for Tyr to lie about something so easily disprovable. So, Sejun really did all that. Maybe he could also solve our problem at the Green Tower. A glimmer of hope appeared on Brachio's face. There was one issue with the Green Tower that other dragons did not know about. The crop's growth was excessively good. At first glance, it seemed like a benefit, but the crops planted in the Green Tower only focused on growing, which was why the state and yield of Ophelia's crops were terrible. Of course, Ophelia's farming skills were also to blame. But what should I do? She had planned to simply intimidate him and cancel the slave contract with Ophelia, but she ended up endangering his life in her haste. I need to go inside the Black Tower and apologize. Brachio hurried into the Green Tower to start making a statue. A statue was needed to enter the Black Tower. She planned to offer Sejun a generous reward and seek his help. However, to enter the Black Tower, she first needed to obtain permission from the enraged final boss, Ailing. And there were a series of mid-bosses in line. Theo, the devout follower of Sejun's knees, who only lives for the moment. The daddy's fool, Kyungi. Sejun's fam, Ajax. And Fenrir, who adored his meal-providing butler. Brachio was really tired after mistakenly giving just one scare. You have arrived at the 62nd floor of the Black Tower. Due to the effect of the title, Retrogressor, all stats increase by 37. Sejun arrived on the 62nd floor of the Black Tower. Isn't this mugwort? Sejun noticed the mugwort under his feet. The 62nd floor was a mugwort farm. Mugwort with rice cakes are really tasty. As Sejun thought about mugwort rice cakes, you have been recognized as the rightful owner of the land deed for the mugwort farm on the 62nd floor of the Black Tower. The land deed skill, Farm Information LV, Max is activated. A message appeared indicating he had become the owner of the land. He was easily recognized as the owner of the land deed since there were no particular issues with the farm. This easily. Oh, then thank you very much. Plug. Sejun laughed as he harvested the mugwort. Then, you have harvested tenacious mugwort. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency of harvesting LV 8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. Messages appeared. Tenacious mugwort. Hehe, is this an item? Sejun checked the properties of the mugwort with a hopeful expression. Tenacious mugwort. A plant that naturally grows inside the tower and boasts a tenacious vitality. It absorbs all sorts of things from the soil, so its properties can greatly change depending on the soil. The land's condition is ordinary, so the effects are not outstanding. If you consume tenacious mugwort for the first time, it awakens the talent, tenacity. If you have the talent, tenacity, consuming tenacious mugwort will enhance this talent. It has a strong bitter taste. Shelf life, 120 days. Grade C+. Oh, it even awakens a talent. I have to harvest it then. Sejun had no intention of eating it raw. He crouched down and started picking the mugwort. Just then, Clang. The door to the void storage opened. Chairman Park, what are you doing, meow? Kyung. Why is Dad picking something tasteless? Hyung, what's this? Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax came out and clung to Sejun. And then, plop. Hey, it's all mine. Fenrir proudly emerged from the void storage with 3 dried sweet potatoes in his mouth. Kyung. These are good for Dad. Dad should eat them all. Right, it would be better if Hyung eats them. While helping to pick the mugwort, Kyungi and Ajax spoke as if making a vow to Sejun. The two were laying groundwork in advance to give Sejun what they didn't want to eat themselves. Hehe, they'll regret this later. As Sejun laughed, thinking about the future regret of the two. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 20 km to the east. A message appeared before Sejun. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 5 km to the east. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 5 km to the east. Following messages appeared. Like Sejun had detected other fragments of Fenrir's core, the other party had also detected the fragment of Fenrir's core inside Sejun. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 5 km to the east. The distance was getting closer. Hey, to dare come at me so fearlessly, how audacious. Sejun arrogantly spoke to the approaching foe. Guys, handle it. Tab. Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax formed a wall in front of him. A fragment of Fenrir's core has been detected 2 km to the east. The distance had narrowed further. It's urine, meow. Theo spotted urine, not an enemy, but rather eagerly running towards them with a fragment of Fenrir's core. Urine was also looking for other fragments of Fenrir's core. Theonim, hello. Hut, hello, meow, but it'd be even nicer if you give that to us, meow. Theo looked at the fragment of Fenrir's core that Urine was holding and said, What, but I got this at a high price. In response to Theo's words, Urine hid the fragment of Fenrir's core in his arms. Normally, he would have handed it over to Theo without hesitation, but the fragment of Fenrir's core had stirred Urine's greed. Slowly, a faint red aura began to emanate from the fragment of Fenrir's core, enveloping Urine's body, and a red glow started swirling in Urine's eyes. Hut, hand it over, meow. Theo confidently extended a paw towards Urine and demanded again. Then a darker red aura enveloped Urine from the fragment of Fenrir's core. However, okay. Despite the support of the red aura, Urine obediently handed the fragment of Fenrir's core to Theo. Urine, whose nature was that of a pushover, couldn't win against the street-smart Theo. Chapter 343. Now I'm not a bully, am I? Kaying. That's mine, that's my core. Boing boing. Fenrir eagerly jumped towards the fragment of his core held in Theo's front paws. However, meow, Blackie, you can't have this, meow. This belongs to Chairman Park, meow. Theo, with no intention of giving it up, chuckled. I'll give this to Chairman Park and get praised, meow. But that's mine. Urine's frustrated voice from behind was so small it could barely be heard. Kaying. I'm tired. As Fenrir got tired after a few jumps and sprawled on the floor. Hut, Chairman Park, here it is, meow. Theo with a did I do well, meow. Look, handed the fragment of Fenrir's core to Sejun. Yes, you did well. Pad. Sejun petted Theo's head as he took the core fragment the size of a walnut. However, there was no reaction like before. It's not here. It was a core fragment that did not contain a piece of the gate leading to the 10th tower. Sejun looked at the core fragment in his hand with a disappointed expression. First seat of Apostle of Destruction, Fenrir's core fragment. This is a fragment of Fenrir's core, the first seat among the Apostles of Destruction. It contains 1% of the total power. If the power of destruction within is not removed, you will be consumed by it. There was no need to get it appraised separately, as Sejun had already obtained a fragment of Fenrir's core before, or because he was carrying it on his person. However, purification seemed necessary. What? There is 1% power in this. Sejun was shocked by the power contained in the core fragment. Croker had managed to block Ajax's breath with just 0.01% of Fenrir's power. But if it's 1%, it was really fortunate that it was urine. Until just now, Sejun had felt sympathy for urine being exploited daily by Theo, but now he felt relieved. But urine, how did you get this? Sejun became curious about how urine managed to find Fenrir's core fragment on the 62nd floor of the tower. Just on my way to the 75th floor, I heard a whisper calling me. A whisper? Yes, it's still calling me. It's telling me to kill the dragon together. What? Dare to kill a dragon? Ajax was infuriated by Urine's words. It's not me, it's this thing. Urine timidly pointed at Fenrir's core fragment, avoiding Ajax's glare. Then, all right. Swoosh. Urine, as if mesmerized, quickly reached out his paw towards the core fragment in Sejun's hand, intent on snatching Fenrir's core fragment. However, Hut, not a chance, meow. Slap. Iron Wall Defense Theo blocked Urine's thick paw with his right front paw. How dare you target our Chairman Park's item, meow. And, Urine, get a hold of yourself, meow. Slap. With a slap of his left front paw, Theo brought Urine back to his senses. What did I just do? Awakened by Theo's slap, Urine realized his actions and was flustered. I'm sorry, at least take this. Urine rummaged through his pouch and pulled out a purse. It's okay, it can happen. Sejun accepted the money pouch with a look of forgiveness. I forgive you completely. After securing the money pouch, clicking, Sejun showed the fragment of Fenrir's core to Urine again. Haselu. Swoosh. Slap slap. I did it again. Another pouch came in. Vice Chairman Theo, nice. Hut, Chairman Park is pretty good too, meow. In this way, Sejun and Theo received 20 money pouches from Urine. I don't want to be hit anymore. Thanks to that, Urine no longer succumbed to the temptation of Fenrir's core fragment. Indeed, there's no business in front of beatings. But do you guys also hear the whisper? Sejun pressed his ear to Fenrir's core fragment and looked at Theo, Kyungi, and Ajax, asking, I don't hear anything, do you? I don't hear it, meow. Kyungi don't hear it either. I don't hear it. For some reason, only Urine could hear the whisper coming from Fenrir's core fragment. What is it? It was understandable for Ajax since he is a dragon, but Theo and Kyungi should have heard it too. Especially since he was weaker than Urine, he should have heard something. But there was nothing. Is it only audible to those who are mentally weak? That seemed plausible. I am mentally strong after all. I don't think so. What? Never mind. At Sejun's retort, Urine quickly shut his mouth. Then, Kaying. Hey, that's mine. Didn't I give you one already? Fenrir, having regained his strength, barked while hopping towards the core fragment in Sejun's hand. And, could it be, Blackie, did you hear the whisper from here too? Sejun misunderstood that Fenrir had heard the whisper from the core fragment. This could be dangerous for Blackie. Aileen, please purify this. He quickly sent the core fragment to Aileen. The tower's administrator says to leave it to her. The tower's administrator says she will purify it thoroughly. Thanks. After finishing his talk with Aileen, Kaying, my core. As the core fragment disappeared, Fenrir, with his ears and tail drooping, turned his back on Sejun. Haha, our Blackie looks totally defeated, cute. Come on, Blackie, let's eat something tasty. Sejun, with a pleased smile, took out 2 dried sweet potatoes to cheer up Fenrir. However, Kaying, I won't eat. Fenrir, perhaps heartbroken, immediately turned his head away even from the dried sweet potatoes he usually loved. Even this. Sejun then took out 2 more dried sweet potatoes. Kaying. 4 chewy yellow ones. Fenrir, who had never eaten 4 dried sweet potatoes at once, hesitated for a moment but then turned his head away. A noble wolf has its pride. He couldn't be swayed by just that. Haha, can you also refuse this? Chug. Sejun started peeling a banana. Kaying. What's that? Why does it smell so good? Drawn by the unusual sweet scent different from the dried sweet potatoes, Fenrir not only turned his head but his entire body around. Wag. His tail wagging vigorously as he drooled. Kaying. Hurry up and peel it, give it to me quickly. Okay, here. As Sejun hurriedly fed the eager Fenrir a banana. Chomp. Fenrir began to eat earnestly. And then, Stayer. Kyungi and Ajax were staring at Sejun with heated gazes. It was a silent signal that they also wanted bananas. All right, here, let's eat this and then continue. Thus began an unexpected snack time. I also. Pew hut, if you want a banana, you need to pay up, meow. Theo, in his usual sly manner, watched Urin asking for a banana and tried to get more money from him. Yes, I will pay. Urin, after already being fleeced of 20 money bags, yet again took out more money. I'll just give this one for free. Sejun gave a bunch of bananas to Urin for free. I am quite generous. Feeling satisfied with himself. Now I'm not a bully, am I? Sejun was late in trying to clean up his image. Black Tower's administrator area. Let's purify this quickly and return it to our Sejun. Grandpas gather up quickly. Aileen, full of enthusiasm, called out to Kaiser, Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr. Due to her own power being insufficient to purify even 1% of the destructive power contained in Fenrir's core fragment. A moment later. Kahaha, my granddaughter, did you call Grandpa? Kaiser and other dragons from the Dragon Council gathered. And then, what's that? It's bigger than the last one. Are we going to make a ton of money? Dwahaha, what shall we buy from Sejun this time? They got excited at the sight of the walnut-sized fragment of Fenrir's core that Aileen was holding, thinking about the money they could make. However, Grandpas, first you need to pay me back for the black beans you used last time. They had debts to repay. How much is it? Minus 100 billion tower coins. What? That's too expensive. The dragons were taken aback by Aileen's response. The black beans had improved from 12 to 16 times their effectiveness, a 33.33% increase, while the price had jumped 300% from 25 billion to 100 billion tower coins, which was indeed shocking. Sejun said that performance and price aren't necessarily proportional. If our Sejun says so. Here it is. The dragons handed over the money they had to Aileen. Thank you. After receiving the money, Aileen began to explain to the 4 dragons. Since it will take too long to purify this, so take turns using your main bodies to purify it. All right, know that it won't be fun if you guys cheat. If anyone is caught cheating, they're out. Not just swear a oath it in our name. Also need to decide the order. Following Aileen's suggestion, the dragons wrote a contract and decided who would purify Fenrir's core fragment first. The agreed order was Kaiser, Tyr, Ramter, and Kellyan. Kahaha, then I'm first. The black dragon statue swallowed Fenrir's core fragment. Plug. You have harvested tenacious mugwort. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency of harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. After snack time, Sejun diligently harvested mugwort again. Kyung. Your hands smell like mugwort. It kind of smells nice the more you smell it, doesn't it? Why me? Kyungi, Ajax, and Urin also helped with harvesting mugwort. Shall we sleep here tonight? Sejun swallowed a fragment of meat while looking at the darkening sky. You have consumed Alien's healthier meatball piece. You must eat all the pieces to get the effect. 150 pieces left. I've been eating 20 pieces a day earnestly. There were still 150 pieces left. However, thanks to him diligently eating the meat pieces, his vitality skill had reached level 7. Kyung. It's campfire time. Heat a campfire. At the mention of sleeping outside, Kyungi and Ajax quickly went into the void storage to bring out green onion leaves, sweet potatoes, and potatoes. And then, Sejun, Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, urine. The five began to wrap sweet potatoes and potatoes with green onion leaves together. A short while later, crackle, crackle, chew, chew. The sounds of burning wood and chewing filled the mugwort farm. After finishing the quiet dinner like that, Pew Hugh Hut, that was delicious, meow. Chairman Park's fish grilling skills are getting better, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Theo, who had eaten his fill of Sejun's grilled fish, lay sprawled on Sejun's lap. And, Kyueha Kyuung. Hehe, it was a delicious dinner. Ehehe, I always get to eat delicious things when I'm with Sejun Hyung. Kyungi and Ajax snuggled against Sejun's side, rubbing their bellies. Plub. Kaying. My stomach hurts, rub my belly. Lastly, Fenrir, having overeaten, lay in front of Sejun with his bloated belly sticking out, asking for help. Sai, I told you to eat moderately. He knew it from the moment Fenrir ran off with a whole sweet potato earlier that this would happen. Swish. Sejun carefully picked up Fenrir. Pad, and petted Fenrir's belly. Meanwhile, Gororong, Kurorong, Arorong, Kaikyernrong. All four of them fell asleep, using Sejun's body as a pillow. I should sleep too. Sejun looked around to lie down. But why does he sleep like that? HNNGH. Sejun spotted urine lying curled up on the ground by himself. Despite being a wealthy legendary merchant, why does he look so pitiful? Swish. Sejun covered urine with green onion leaves and laid down himself. Day 378 in the tower. Today also was another uneventful day. Clatter, clatter. Or did something happen? Suddenly, a skeleton appeared. Clatter. The king of farming, who had come up from the 4th floor to meet Sejun, bowed his head and greeted Sejun. Chapter 344. He's my only servant. 4th floor of the Black Tower. O goddess of abundance, Li, today too, I diligently made and sold holy water and holy oil. As usual, the king of farmers prayed to the goddess of abundance, Li, and gained strength. Then, my child, it is time. After a long time, Li responded to the king of farmers' prayers. Time. Yes, Park Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower, has passed the 10th tower's trial. Go and help Park Sejun. Yes, Goddess Li. The king of farmers energetically responded to Li's command. Goddess Li, but what exactly should I help with? Now take the money you've earned, holy water and holy oil with you. Everything else will be resolved once you meet Park Sejun. Yes. Following Li's command, the king of farmers ascended the tower, and after 5 days he finally met Sejun. But, monster! To Sejun, it was just a skeleton, indistinguishable in the dark whether it was a black skeleton. Meow, who is it, meow? Kyung. Dad, Kyungi will protect you. Hyung, I'll protect you. Kaying. I'll protect this guy, bring it on. With the appearance of the monster, Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, and Blackie blocked the way in front of Sejun. And, Chairman Park, I'll take care of it, meow. As Theo was preparing to attack the king of farmers, wagging his tail. Clatter, clatter. The king of farmers started to take something out. 10 billion tower coins. Grape wine. Grapeseed oil. What? It was unclear why he was taking them out. I'll buy all the grapeseed oil. Now I can make fried dishes. Sejun, who wanted the grapeseed oil, shouted. At that moment, all of this is yours, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. The king of farmers' eyes shone golden as a dignified voice flowed out. The goddess of abundance, Lee, had descended into the body of the king of farmers. Who are you, and why are you giving me these? As the atmosphere and voice of the opposite party suddenly changed, Sejun cautiously collected the grape seed oil and asked, I'll take it since they're giving it to me anyway. I am the goddess of abundance, Lee. Park Sejun, I have come to help you. Meanwhile, Lee responded and drew up her energy. Then, the elixir shop of the goddess of abundance, Lee, will open temporarily for 10 minutes. Harvest elixir 1 drop, 100 billion tower coins, up to 10 drops can be purchased. A message appeared before Sejun. It will only be open for 10 minutes. But Goddess Lee, you said you would help me. Why is the price higher? He clearly bought the harvest elixir for 70 billion tower coins per drop before, but now it was 100 billion tower coins per drop. Is this really helping? That's a ripoff. Ho ho ho, isn't it about helping each other? It's more expensive because this is an unofficial route. Unofficial route. Is this guy a scammer impersonating a goddess, or a wandering merchant? Thinking about it, it was strange. Why would a god descend into a skeleton? What is that look in your eyes? It's very disrespectful. There are circumstances. Lee snapped back at Sejun's skeptical look. Then prove that you're a god. Kim, all right. But if I prove I am a god, you must purchase all my elixirs. Okay, alien, how much money do I have? Having a lot of harvest elixir can't be bad. Sejun accepted Lee's offer and asked Aileen. The tower's administrator says you have about 700 billion tower coins. 700 billion plus, my own money should be enough. Send that to me. The tower's administrator says okay. Thump. A heavy pouch of money dropped in front of Sejun. Now prove you are a god. If you are real, I'll buy all the elixirs. Very well. Then take out the golden box of abundance you have. Okay. After Sejun took out some black beans from the golden box of abundance and handed it over to Lee. Snap. Done, check it. Lee briefly held the golden box of abundance with both hands and then handed it back to Sejun. It doesn't look like she did anything. Sejun, with a doubtful look, checked the golden box of abundance he received back from Lee. Golden box of abundance. This box contains the powers of Lee, the ancient goddess of abundance. Though most of the divine powers had faded over time, the goddess of abundance, Lee, has breathed her own power back into it, restoring its divine powers. If you place a grain or fruit inside and wait a day, it will increase to 5. Usage restriction. Tower Farmer Park Sejun, recognized by the goddess of abundance, Lee. Creator, goddess of abundance, Lee. Grade. Whoa. The golden box of abundance had transformed into a relic through Lee's hands. Squeak. Hezeli. Sejun tightly hugged the golden box of abundance that had become a relic. Now if I produce 4 more black beans each day, he could sell more black beans to the dragons and earn more money. While Sejun was excited about making money. Heh, since it was originally my relic, so turning it back into one is nothing to me. Lee, satisfied with Sejun's happy expression, said with a conceited voice. However, the power of the goddess of abundance, Lee, has diminished. 2 minutes remaining for the elixir shop's operation. It doesn't seem like it was nothing, right? Park Sejun, hurry up and make the transaction. Lee hurried Sejun. Then, Pew Hu Hut, Goddess Lee, aren't you going to give a last-minute sale discount, meow? Theo, catching the opponent's weak spot, tried to beat down the price ruthlessly. Heh. Our vice chairman Theo has learned well from someone. But he's too impatient. That's the charm of Theo, who lives only for the moment. Vice chairman Theo, stay still. Meow. Sejun quickly cut off Lee's words, as she was about to vent her anger and hid Theo behind his leg. Purchase 10 drops of the harvest elixir. paid 1 trillion tower coins to the goddess of abundance, Li. He purchased the elixirs. If you've decided to buy, then buying coolly is the way to build trust between parties. Thank you. I promised, did I? Park Sejun. One of the fragments leading to the 10th tower is on the 80th floor of the Black Tower. See you next time. With those words, Li left the body of the King of Farmers, and clatter. The King of Farmers' body collapsed to the floor. There's a piece leading to the 10th tower on the 80th floor. Sejun repeated Li's words when snore, snore. Despite the quite noisy situation, Yurin, who had never woken up once, was seen sleeping peacefully. Isn't that a bit irksome? Swoosh. Sejun slightly lowered the green onion leaves he had covered over Yurin, and then said, Guys, let's also get some sleep quickly. Sejun fell asleep, along with his companions. Hehe, it's warm. With Theo on his legs, Kyungi and Ajax by his sides, and Blackie on his belly, it was a warm night without needing a blanket due to their body heat. Black Tower's administrator area. What is Sejun doing? Aileen, who could only watch through the crystal orb, did not see the goddess of abundance, Li. She could only see Sejun facing a skeleton. Then, one of the Black Tower's growth conditions has been met. An alarm appeared. Kahi. As Aileen hurried to check the conditions of the Black Tower. Black Tower growth conditions, 5-8. Tower Farmer A achieved. Create more than 10 new varieties, exceeded 2010. Cultivate more than 330 million square meter of farmland, unachieved. Grow a world tree, achieved pottery. Acquire more than 10,000 world's energy pieces, unachieved. Own more than 5 relics, achieved. Achieve 3 great achievements, unachieved. Increase the number of Black Tower entrances to 120, unachieved. Owning more than 5 relics had changed to achieved. When did it get 5 relics, Kihihi, as expected of our Sejun? Aileen, stimulated by Sejun's achievements, decided to work a bit harder. And, nom. She increased her strength by eating elixir-class cherry tomatoes and thick darkness cherries. I have to get stronger if I'm going to protect our Sejun. Wriggle. As if responding to Aileen's resolve, her shadow grew slightly larger. The next morning, during sleep, 10% of your life force has been stored. The life orb is 2.3% complete. 1 magic power has accumulated over 24 hours. Your magic power increases by 0.1. It's increased. Sejun smiled as he read the messages that appeared before him. Originally, the completion rate of the life orb increased by 0.15% each day, but today it had increased by 0.2% thanks to Ophelia boosting his stats. As Sejun woke up in a good mood and got up from his spot stretching. Meowwua. Kyung. Kiyang. Theo, Kyungi, Ajax and Blackie also energetically stretched along with Sejun. Guys, just wait a bit. I'll make something delicious, and stay a bit away today because it's dangerous. Gurgle, gurgle, Sejun said as he poured grapeseed oil into the pan. Whoosh. He heated the oil and hum, made the batter for frying. I'll fry everything. Today was a day for frying. He planned to fry everything edible like potatoes, sweet potatoes and carrots. Is it morning already? Yurin woke up too, lured by the smell of the oil. While Sejun was preparing breakfast. Pew hut, Chairman Park, I'll go pick the mugwort, meow. Kyung. Dad, I'll help with the work. Me too. I'll help too. Theo, Kyungi, Ajax and Yurin picked mugwort while Kaying. Sleepy. Fenrir dozed off, waiting for breakfast to be ready. A little later. Crunch. Meow, what's this, meow? Even the bones are delicious, meow. Kyung. What is this? It crushes deliciously. This texture is new. As expected, Sejun Hyung is a culinary genius. Amazing, I'd pay more for food like this. Praises continued from Theo, Kyungi, Ajax and Urin who tasted the fried dishes. Hehe, everything becomes delicious when fried. Sejun responded with a pleased expression when your soul is fulfilled with overflowing praise. Mental strength increases by 1. His mental strength increased along with the message. Let's feed our Blackie too. Sejun also gave thinly sliced sweet potato fries to Blackie. And crunch. Kaying. What? Why is this so delicious? Fenrir was excited after taking a bite of the sweet potato fries. He was so delighted that it made him angry. How did he not know about this delicious thing before? Definitely made the right choice saving this guy. He's my only servant. Crunch. Convinced he had done well to give his core to Sejun, Fenrir enjoyed the sweet potato fries contentedly. Now I should eat too. Watching everyone enjoy their meal, Sejun dipped a piece of fried squid into soy sauce mixed with chili powder before put it in his mouth. Crunch. The crispy sound accompanied the breaking of the batter and the chewy squid inside. The crunchiness and chewiness mingled with the oiliness in his mouth. And the soy sauce provided just the right amount of saltiness, while the chili powder removed the greasiness of the fry. This is it. Well done, Park Sejun. Sejun admired his own cooking as he began to eat the fried squid. Crunch. Other than the sound of the crunching, nothing else could be heard during today's quiet morning breakfast. Clatter. Meanwhile, the king of farmers who had lost consciousness opened his eyes. Why am I lying here? The king of farmers was puzzled. He clearly remembered meeting Sejun yesterday, but his memories after that were blank. Then, my child, you may return now. He heard the voice of Li. Yes, Goddess Li. Clatter. I will take my leave now. Thus, the king of farmers prepared to say goodbye to Sejun and leave. However, where are you going? You should stay and help us pick mugwort. Sejun caught hold of the king of farmers. He couldn't let go of free labor just like that. Chapter 345, It Was You. Seed Shop Headquarters. Lean, welcome back. Did you have a good trip? The god of spring breeze, melon, and other gods asked Li, the goddess of abundance. Their bodies were so translucent that the blurry background behind them was visible. They were disappearing, losing their divine power. Indeed, yes, look at this. Li responded boastfully in a very different tone than when she spoke to Sejun, to Melon's question. Li showed a fist-sized orb of light. It was divine power worth 500 billion tower coins. The other half, i.e. 500 billion tower coins, were lost in the process of bringing it. As she told Sejun, it was a loss they had to bear since it was not an official trading route. Well, as expected of Leanim. Here, eat up. Li tore off a piece as small as a thumbnail from the divine power and handed it to the gods. Leanim, thank you. Thank you. If it weren't for Leanim, we would have already perished. The gods expressed their gratitude to Li as they ate the divine power she provided. Their divinity restored, their bodies became clearer and more defined after consuming the divine power. We must all help each other to survive. You guys should also find believers, then you can trade with Sejun. Yes, I hope so. Then we won't have to be wary of those guys anymore. Right, let's show the pride of us non-combat gods. While Li boldly exclaimed, Fahaha, pride, what did I just hear? Thud, thud. A god so huge that he was incomparable to them laughed at their conversation as he passed by. HMPH, just you watch. Non-combat gods will become the mainstream soon. Park Sejun fighting. Park Sejun fighting. Li and the other non-combat gods cheered for Sejun. Plug. You have harvested a tenacious mugwort. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 45 experience points. Sejun, along with Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, Urin, and the king of farming, diligently harvested mugwort. At that moment, Kaying. Hey look, I can also pluck well. Fenrir plucked mugwort with his mouth and brought it to Sejun. Oh, is Blackie also helping with farming? Chug. At Sejun's question, Fenrir sat down. Kaying, since I helped give me food. He had an ulterior motive. Chomp chomp chomp. Thus, Sejun gave Fenrir some dried sweet potatoes and, all right, now we're halfway done, let's keep up the pace. He encouraged his companions as they continued harvesting mugwort. Pew Hugh Hut, but what's the name of this skeleton slave, meow? Theo approached the king of farming and inquired about his name. Clatter, I am called the king of farming. Pew Hugh Hut, what kind of name is king of farming, meow? You should at least be something like our chairman Park, a tower farmer. Theo mocked the name of the king of farming and after writing, king of farming, in the second column of the contract and swoosh. He brought the contract in front of the king of farming hand as he tried to harvest mugwort. Press, clatter, and got king of farming's stamp. You king of farming, I'm the tower farmer. 1TL, so let me explain what's going on here. First, the proper translation for skeleton's name would be farming king, but I have chosen to go with king of farming because it essentially means the same thing but sounds better. Now setting that aside, the sentence used here is a mix of English and Korean. That is, you and I am are in English and the Korean word for tower translates to top. Hopefully this makes things a bit clearer. Sejun, looking at the king of farming, pointed his thumb down and boasted. He really said it annoyingly. Clatter, I'm also good at farming. Provoked by Sejun's taunt, the king of farming couldn't hold back and retorted. Pew Hugh Hut, you dare challenge our chairman Park with farming, meow. Chairman Park, show him what you've got, meow. Hee, all right, I'll show you why I'm the tower farmer. Thus began a battle of pride between the two serious farmers. Then it's a contest to see who can harvest more mugwort. With Sejun's shout, the harvesting competition began. Sejun Hyung, you got this. With Sejun's prestige as a tower farmer on the line, Ajax enthusiastically cheered him on in the competition. A moment later. King of farming, you still have a long way to go before you can challenge me. The result was Sejun's victory. While skill matters in terms of physical ability, the king of farming from the fourth floor of the tower couldn't beat Sejun. However, clatter, I may not be good at harvesting, but I excel at planting grapes. Pew Hugh Hut, Chairman Park, the king of farming is challenging you to a grape planting contest, meow. Feeling unfairly dismissed by Sejun's mockery, the king of farming requested a rematch. Oh yeah, then shall we compete in planting grapes? Clatter, yes, let's do it. All right, land moving. Sejun, planning to dominate from the start, scattered 50,000 grape seeds and struck the ground with Myler's hoe. Then, Kugagung, you have planted 50,000 vitality-infused fragrant grape seeds in soil imbued with magic power. Your job experience has greatly increased. Your proficiency in magic seed sowing LV8 has greatly increased. You have created a 661,200 square meter vineyard. You have earned 400,000 experience points. A vineyard of 661,200 square meter was created in an instant. King of farming, did you see that? The skills of a tower farmer. As Sejun looked confidently at the king of farming. Plop. The king of farming had only managed to plant a single grape seed. Then, Wung, when he used a skill on the spot where he planted the seed. Crackle. The grape began to grow rapidly. Isn't this the effect of a harvest elixir? No, the growth rate was much faster than that. Crackle. The grape seed quickly grew into a tree and bore fruit. And, clatter, the king of farming, sticking out his ribs as much as possible, struck a victor's pose and handed Sejun a bunch of grapes. Fragrant seedless grapes. Seedless grape. Where have I seen this before? Pottery, seeing the seedless grape reminded him of pottery. Could the taste be? Pop it. He plucked a grape and touched the tip of it with his tongue. Yug. As expected, it was bitter. King of farming, you know about pottery, right? Clatter, clatter. Pottery? Of course I know since I planted it. In response to Sejun's question, the king of farming nodded his head, confessing that he was the culprit himself. Gotcha, you scoundrel. King of farming, it was you. You made our pottery seedless. King of farming, you've made two mistakes. Clatter. Me. The first is making our pottery seedless, and the second is making the grapes taste so bad. Why did you do that? Quickly apologize to the grapes. Kyung kyung. Right, why did you do that? They really tasted bad. The farm contest was soon forgotten, and it turned into an inquisition of the king of farming by Sejun and Kyungi, outraged by the bitter grapes. Kaying. Why did you make him angry? Skeleton, it was definitely your fault. Two, don't make a mistake here. Blackie doesn't understand Sejun and the others. He is speaking based on their emotions and the situation. Fenrir also eagerly sided with Sejun. A moment later. Clatter. Leaving the king of farming, whose spirit was completely crushed by the two's scolding. Crunch. Sejun and his companions enjoyed a delicious lunch of fried dishes. The menu was fish and chips. Since fish and chips were basically fried fish with fried potatoes, so it was no different from breakfast. If there was a difference, it was the tartar sauce. In the morning, Sejun was in a rush to eat fried food, so they simply dipped them in soy sauce. But lunch was the chance for Sejun to show off his culinary skills. So he mixed grapeseed oil, egg fruit yolk, rice vinegar among other ingredients to make mayonnaise. Then he added onions, carrots, and green onions along with other ingredients to create tartar sauce. After that meal, this would taste good fried too, wouldn't it? Sejun coated the mugwort in frying batter and dipped it into boiling oil. Sizzle. The sound of the batter frying in the hot oil sounded appetizing. It's done. As the color turned golden brown, Sejun took out the mugwort. Then, you have achieved the feat of making the first ever crispy mugwort fries in the tower. The recipe for crispy mugwort fries has been registered under Cooking LV 9. Your proficiency in Cooking LV 9 has slightly increased. Due to the effects of Cooking LV 9, the efficacy of tenacious mugwort as a cooking ingredient has increased by 5%. A message of achievement appeared. Nice. Sejun put the crispy mugwort fries in his mouth, feeling good as he looked at the message. Crunch. As the fries crumbled, the aroma of mugwort spread throughout his mouth and crunch, crunch. With every chew, the pleasant texture made eating them more enjoyable, and fortunately, perhaps due to the heating, the bitterness was not strong. Gulp. You have consumed crispy mugwort fries. Talent, strong tenacity has been awakened. Sejun swallowed the mugwort, awakening a new talent. Strong tenacity. Originally it was just tenacity, but thanks to the 5% increase in the ingredients effect from cooking, strong was added in front. Let's see. Sejun checked his newly acquired talent. Talent, strong tenacity. It is a talent that makes it hard to die due to a strong tenacity for life. Each time you overcome a near-death experience, your vitality slightly increases. Vitality plus 10%. Wow! Vitality plus 10%. Excited, Sejun hurriedly coated more mugwort in batter and sizzle. Started frying and eating it. He had to eat a lot to enhance his talent. High vitality means not being treated like a sunfish. You have consumed crispy mugwort fries. Due to Cooking LV 9, the effect of the ingredient tenacious mugwort is increased by 5%. Talent, strong tenacity is slightly enhanced. Thus, Sejun ate the mugwort fries so fervently that it nearly scalded his palate. However, vitality plus 10,001%. The vitality increased only slightly. As expected, it's not easy. The world did not generously pour blessings on Sejun. Let's get back to work. Realizing that the world wasn't that easy, Sejun went back to harvesting mugwort. 2 hours later. Phew, done. Sejun looked at the towering stack of mugwort and said with a satisfied voice, "Your soul feels fulfilled." Mental strength increases by 1. Mental strength increased simultaneously. Indeed, labor does not betray. Hehe, good, guys, let's head back. Sejun prepared to return with a smile. Pew hut, let's go home, meow. Swish. At Sejun's words, Theo quickly clung to Sejun's leg. However, Vice Chairman Theo, take the king of farming to the 4th floor of the tower. Theo had a task to do. The king of farming came from the 4th floor and had come up to the 62nd floor. He had been lucky coming up, but there was no guarantee he'd be lucky going down as well. That's why he told Theo to take the king of farming back. Additionally, Theo was instructed to check if the vineyards on the 4th floor were all right. Pew hut, Vice Chairman Theo will check thoroughly and return quickly, meow. King of farming, let's go, meow. When Theo and the king of farming were about to leave quickly, Theonim Al also. Urin also called out to follow Theo for a safe return. Pew hut, okay, meow. Urin, follow along, meow. On the way, I must buy what I want with Urin's money, meow. For Theo, who considered Urin as his wallet, naturally welcomed it. Chairman Park, I'll be off, meow. All right, take care. Kyung. Big brother, see you later. See you later. Kaying. Bring back something tasty when you return. With everyone's farewell, Theo left with the king of farming and Urin. Let's go to Toryang. Sejun called Toryang and moved toward the red light created by the waypoint's red crystal. And Kyung. Move out of the way. Clear the path. Kaying. Move aside. This noble wolf Lord Fenrir commands it. Kyungi, Ajax, and Fenrir intimidated the boss monster guarding the waypoint. Please pass through. The boss monster stepped aside to let them through. Kyung. Dad, use waypoint now. Hyung, it's safe now. Kaying. From now on, just follow behind me. Yeah, thanks. Black Tower 62nd floor waypoint has been saved. Thanks to this, Sejun easily saved the waypoint. Guys, go in. Moving to the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Together with his companions, Sejun returned to the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Green Tower's administrative area. All right, it's time to go. Brachio took the completed green dragon statue and flew to the Black Tower. Now, if I just go into the Black Tower and appease Sejun's anger. Brachio thought only of calming Sejun's anger. However, it was a very naive thought. Grandma Brachio, who tried to kill our Sejun, is now banned from entering the Black Tower. The final boss of the Black Tower, Aileen, did not open the door. Brachio, what's the matter? Aileen won't open the door. So Brachio went to find Kaiser. Kaiser, how can I appease Aileen's anger? She asked Kaiser for a way to calm Aileen's anger. For that you need to ask Sejun, but what should I do? Brachio had no way to enter the Black Tower. Chapter 346, Is Theonim short on money? On the way to take the king of farming to the 4th floor of the tower. Meow, again meow. A crossroads appeared before Theo. It was already the 5th crossroad. By the way, they encountered 10 teams of highway robbers along the way. All because of Urin's misfortune. It would have been only Urin. It would have been a stroke of luck for them to make a fortune. Pew hut, stamp it, meow. Beside him was the golden cat, Theo Park, and their luck turned into the misfortune of stamping a slave contract. Pew hut, how could this be, meow? Urin, you are really unlucky, meow. As Theo spoke to Urin, Haha, Theonim, shall I give you some money? Urin, the cause of this predicament, noticed Theo's mood and took out a money pouch. Of course, meow, hand over the money, meow. Theo, who never refuses money offered, put the money pouch taken out by Urin into his own bundle. Pew hut, this way, meow. He confidently headed towards the left path. And then, thump! As Theo, Urin, and the king of farming passed by, the snake's mouth inevitably closed. A little later, slash! The snake's body was split into 6 parts. It had been struck by Theo's one meow slash. Pew hut, Chairman Park will be pleased meow. After Theo picked up the falling white coins, he set out on the road again. As expected of Theonim. Clatter, clatter. Urin and the king of farming followed Theo leisurely, as if they were on a tour. You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Toryang. Sejun, having reached the 99th floor of the tower, rode on Toryang towards the farm. And then, drip, drip, drip. As soon as he returned to the farm, he dropped a drop of harvest elixir on the thick darkness cherry, sunflower one, and flame bean. The cherry and sunflower needed it to help the black and white dragons quickly find the power of darkness and light. The flame bean was difficult to germinate, so he wanted to grow it properly. The 3 crops absorbed the harvest elixir. And then, SSSRK, the cherry and sunflower grew rapidly. However, the flame bean didn't move at all. No, rather, its leaves turned yellow and began to wither. What's going on? Was the elixir too strong? Swoosh, swoosh. As the condition of the flame bean worsened, Sejun stroked its leaves for treatment. However, Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 has been activated. The growth speed of the flame bean, bearing the breath of the red dragon, slightly increases while being touched. No message about healing appeared, only that the growth speed had increased. Flame bean bearing the breath of the red dragon. Its name had become too long due to the energy from Ramter. So, let's not be sick and grow well, little beanie too. Sejun created a nickname and continued to stroke the dying yellow leaves of flame bean. At that moment, plug. A leaf that Sejun was stroking fell from the stem. Beanie. Startled, Sejun hurriedly tried to reattach the fallen leaf, but once fallen, the leaf would not reattach. I'm sorry. Swoosh, swoosh. As Sejun stroked Beanie's stem apologetically. Hey, master just gave you a name. From now on, your name is Beanie. Beanie, let's hang in there a bit longer. Below the ground, Flamey cautiously infused Beanie with vitality, aiding its growth. Unaware of this, Sejun diligently stroked Beanie's stem. At that moment, whoosh. Beanie's body started to burn. Whoosh. No. Before Sejun could do anything, the fire-burning Beanie grew ferociously and quickly turned Beanie into ash. Sejun was left speechless in shock. Just then, Kong. From the spot where Beanie was planted, a bean sprout-like red plant suddenly grew rapidly with a strange outcry. Kong. Sejun looked at the strangely grown plant with suspicion. Who are you? Whoosh. Kong. Whoosh. Kong. Whoosh. Kong. The red bean sprout repeated the action of creating fire and then shouting Kong in response to Sejun's gaze. There was a hole at the tip of the bean sprout through which it made the sound. After the red bean sprout repeated the same action dozens of times. Whoosh. Fire. Kong. Kong. Sejun figured out what the plant was trying to say. C.3 at the end. Could you be Benny? Kong. This time, instead of making fire, it responded affirmatively to Sejun's words. The red bean sprout was Beanie, a flame bean that had grown by absorbing the harvest elixir given by Sejun and the vitality provided by Flamey. So, you were listening to everything I said. Kong. As Sejun was conversing with Beanie. Hey, Beanie's wish has come true. Flamey was cheering for Beanie from afar, who wanted to introduce itself directly to Sejun, smiled contentedly. Pottery, spread your roots further. Yes. While punishing Pottery that bullied the flame bean. Beanie, is it okay if I touch you? Kong. I'm going to touch you, so don't make fire, got it? Boom. Swoosh, swoosh. Although Sejun had considerable resistance to fire due to his talent as a friend of fire, the timid Sejun checked several times and then stroked Beanie's head. Then, Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 has been activated. While being touched, the growth speed of Flame Beanie, bearing the breath of the red dragon, slightly increases. The message appeared. Beanie had now officially been included in its name. Let's get along well from now on, Beanie. Kong. As Sejun spent time getting acquainted while stroking the head of Beanie. Achoo Kong. Suddenly Beanie sneezed, spitting out a bunch of red beans. And then, you have harvested 100 flame beans. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency of harvesting LV8 proficiency has slightly increased. You have gained 7,000 experience points. Harvest messages appeared. Flame beans. Sejun, puzzled, picked up one of the flame beans to examine it. Beanie's flame beans. These are flame beans produced by the flame Beanie, grown in the Black Tower after absorbing sufficient nutrients. They can only sprout when they absorb fire energy in a place with strong fire energy. When they absorb a certain level of surrounding fire energy, they stop growing and spread flame beans around. Flame beans can also be used as a weapon in danger. When consumed, flame-related talents are greatly enhanced. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life none. Grade A. Eating this will enhance my fire talent. Soon I'll shoot flame breath too, heh. Sejun collected the flame beans that Flamey had spat out, imagining something the other red dragons might laugh at if they heard. Good, picked up all 100. Just as Sejun had finished collecting the flame beans. Sejun, do you not have any more pears to dry? Ramter came looking for Sejun. The pears of strength and stamina Sejun provided caused rain in the Red Tower for the first time in 1,000 years, increasing the water supply. The desertified area disappeared, driving the cactus from the 53rd floor of the tower to the 45th floor. However, as the pears to dry disappeared, desertification progressed rapidly, and the cactus quickly advanced to the 49th floor of the tower. I don't have any. I'd like to give them to you quickly, but it takes time for pears to grow. Using the elixir of harvest, Sejun could quickly grow a pear tree and harvest a few dozen pears, but that number was insufficient for any significant use. But do I have to submerge the tree once the pears have all grown? Originally, the pears of strength and stamina were created because they were submerged in water. Maybe I should try submerging just one tree. While Sejun was thinking of ways to produce pears of strength and stamina. I see. Ramter replied with a disappointed voice and was about to leave. If you're in a hurry, would you like to take these instead? Seeing Ramter like this, Sejun felt sympathetic and handed over half of the flame beans he was holding. These are the same as the beans that absorbed my energy before, right? Ramter recognized the flame beans. Yes, they absorb fire energy, so try planting them. Okay, as expected of our Sejun, thank you. I don't know yet its effect is. Our Sejun has harvested a new crop. Before Sejun could finish speaking, Ramter took the flame beans and flew to the fountain. Pew hut, we finally arrived, meow. After encountering 20 more teams of robbers and 3 additional crossroads, Theo finally reached the 4th floor of the tower. Urin's misfortune was tremendous. Of course, for Theo, it had been a very profitable time. He had obtained white coins, collected 500 signatures on slave contracts, and received a hefty amount of money from Urin. Thus, they arrived at the grape farm. King of farming, what's this line for meow? Theo asked as he looked at 2 long lines facing towards the grape farm. Clatter, clatter. One line is for people who want to work. The other line is for people who want to buy the grape wine I made. The king of farming particularly emphasized the grape wine I made. It was an attempt to restore his pride, shattered after losing the farming contest to Sejun. Pew hut, there are so many suckers, meow. Theo ignored this and ran excitedly towards the grape farm. It's cat wandering merchant, Vice Chairman Theo. Hunters queuing up to work at the grape farm stirred at the sight of Theo. Boss, it's Vice Chairman Theo over there. The same was true for the agents dispatched by the government to buy grape wine. Theo's recent absence made the hunters think there must be some significant event happening. Then, Pew Hut, humans I Vice Chairman Theo have arrived, meow. Theo stopped where the hunters could see him well. Step. I will start the auction, meow. He climbed atop 3 stacked boxes and shouted loudly, Pew Hut, I can't just pass by when there are this many suckers, meow. Thus began the impromptu crop auction. Pew Hut, the first crop is this, meow. I will sell 1,000 in batches of 10, meow. The crop Theo confidently presented was a common sweet potato. What the? I was expecting something since Vice Chairman Theo came personally. The hunters were disappointed seeing the sweet potatoes in Theo's front paws. It was expected. Other cat employees were already periodically selling Sejun's crops on the 41st floor of the tower. Although the power sweet potato was rare, it wasn't shockingly special. Foolish humans, look at the name properly, meow. When Theo got angry at them, the hunters approached Theo and looked at the sweet potatoes. Night sweet potato. They finally realized it was a different kind of sweet potato. Pew Hut, that's right, meow. First look at the options, meow. The hunters inspected the options of the night sweet potato. Night sweet potato. A sweet potato grown within the tower. It has absorbed sufficient nutrients and is delicious. It only grows at night. Consumption allows for sound sleep, and while sleeping, one of the stats, strength, stamina, agility, or magic power, randomly increases by 3. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 150 days. Grade A. Weight, just by eating and sleeping, any of the stats increase by 3 randomly. The hunters were astonished by the options of the night sweet potato. Recently, a bottle of universal elixir that raises all stats by 5 appeared at an auction and sold for 1,000 tower coins. However, unlike the universal elixir, which can only be consumed once per person, the night sweet potato had no such restrictions. If one could eat a night sweet potato every night and sleep well. 15,000 tower coins. 18,000 tower coins. 20,000 tower coins. The auction quickly heated up. 50,000 tower coins. Sold, meow. 10 night sweet potatoes were sold for 50,000 tower coins. Pew Hut, the next auction starts right away, meow. Theo started the next auction with an excited voice. And then, is Theonym short on money? Why does he work so hard to earn money like that? Legendary merchant Urin watched Theo with an expression that couldn't comprehend his actions. TL note. 1. The term kopipatahienus, which I have translated as sunflower, would literally be translated as light-seeking, whereas the Korean for sunflower is kohebatahienus, which when literally translated would be sun-seeking. So from the similarity it can be concluded that it is sunflower, just under a different name. Thus, I have translated it as sunflower, which makes it easier to read and imagine. 2. The Korean names kopukongi, enus beanie, kopuachienus, flamey, and kopusakienus. Little flamey literally translated would be fire bean, fire flower, and fire sprout respectively. However, there isn't a direct equivalent in English that captures the same meaning and also sounds as cute as the original Korean names. Therefore, I've translated kopuachienus as flamey and kopusakienus as little flamey. The author seems to be planning to continue this naming series with kopukongi, which I have decided to translate as beanie instead of fire bean. If you have suggestions for alternatives with a similar meaning, or if there's anything unclear, feel free to comment. I'm also considering changing Little Flamey to Sparky or Sparky, so let me know in comments if I should keep it as it is or change it. 3. Okay, as I have explained above, the name given by Sejun would literally be translated as fire bean. The keen-eyed among you might have already figured this out. The sound of the Korean word for bean is kong. So, by repeating the action of first creating a fire and then saying Kong, Beanie is saying its name to Sejun. Chapter 347, Harvesting Watermelons. 99th floor of the Blue Tower. Kinham, there's a huge problem. What's all the fuss about, Zelga? Well, the tower is now submerged in water up to the 70th floor, and signs of an ice age are appearing on the 30th floor. What? Kin was shocked by Zelga's words. Originally, the situation was such that up to the 62nd floor was submerged, and signs of an ice age were visible on the 20th floor. It was impossible for the situation to worsen this much in just a few days. What's the cause? Have you figured out the cause? It's not certain, but there were reports a few days ago of seeing fragments of Leviathan, the summoner of tsunamis, and Sasha, the queen of screams and ice. What? How dare the apostle of destruction enter my tower? Zelga's report infuriated Kin, but there was nothing Kin could do. The moment Kin or the Blue Dragon enter the tower to fight the apostles of destruction, the situation in the Blue Tower, which is exposed to strong water energy, will only worsen. Now, use up all the elixirs of fire you have to prevent the 71st floor from being submerged in water. Yes, great Blue Dragon. The only option left was to defend the remaining floors. Plug plug. You have harvested thick darkness cherries. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. As Sejun was humming and harvesting the thick darkness cherries grown with the harvest elixir, Kaiser watched Sejun with a pleased expression. And then, Sejun My grandson is doing well. Next to him, Ajax, following Sejun's lead, hummed a tune while harvesting sunflower seeds, and Kellyan was there cheering him on. A moment later, Kaisernam, here you go. Kahaha, Sejun, thank you, take this. Kaiser, delighted, handed a pouch of coins to Sejun after getting 1,000 thick darkness cherries. Grandpa here. Yuahaha, all right. Kellyan looked fondly at his grandson as he received 1,000 sunflower seeds from Ajax. Then, Grandpa, hurry. Ajax, looking at Kellyan, courteously held out his small, adorable hands. Yuahaha, look at my mind, here it is. Kellyan hurriedly took out a money pouch and handed it to Ajax. Hyung, here's the money. Ajax immediately scurried over to Sejun, handing him the money pouch received from Kellyan. And just like that, Sejun was a black hole sucking in all the tower coins. However, good, with 200 billion tower coins, I can buy 2 drops of the harvest elixir. He was just a poor tower farmer struggling with the cost of elixirs. Aileen here. Sejun handed over 100 cherries, left over from what he gave to Kaiser. The tower's administrator says thank you. The tower's administrator says she will enjoy it. Yes, enjoy your meal. While talking with Aileen, Hyung, I will also enjoy the sunflower seeds. Ajax, holding about 100 sunflower seeds in his hand, said to Sejun. Yes, Ajax, you enjoy your meal too. Yep, Hyung. Crunch. Ajax responded, and then began eating the sunflower seeds. A soft but warm light flowed from Ajax's body. He's good at peeling them. Ajax, who had previously eaten sunflower seeds during a past harvest, expertly peeled the shells of the sunflower seeds and ate the contents deliciously. By the way, Ajax was the first among the white dragons to eat the sunflower seeds. And as the first one to consuming something with the power of light, he gained the privilege of getting double the effect. With the cherry and sunflower seed harvest completed, what should I do with the rest? Sejun walked around the farm, looking for a place to use the remaining 2 drops of the harvest elixir. Okay, 1 drop goes here. Drip. He dropped a drop of harvest elixir on a sprout of sun-dried red pepper. Consuming sun-dried red pepper after exposing it to sufficient light randomly increases 5 stats. Moreover, Sun-dried red pepper is essential for making delicious gochujang. TL, red chili paste. A lot of sun-dried red pepper was needed to make tasty gochujang. After using 1 drop of harvest elixir on the sun-dried red pepper. Sejun pondered as he looked at 2 crops. One was a blueberry tree that had grown up to 10 cm above Sejun's knee. The other was a watermelon, still the size of a fist. Swoosh, swoosh. As Sejun stroked the blueberry tree and watermelon vine with his hands. Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 is activated. The growth rate of the blueberry tree accelerates slightly during the touch. Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 is activated. This watermelon has already fully grown. It cannot grow any further. Messages appeared. There's the answer. Sejun then used a drop of harvest elixir on the blueberry tree. Crackle. The blueberry tree grew rapidly. Sejun confirmed the blueberry tree was growing well, and then, thump. You have harvested a watermelon that couldn't absorb enough water. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. He examined the harvested watermelon. Watermelon that couldn't absorb enough water. A watermelon grown inside the black tower that absorbed enough nutrients to be tasty, but didn't grow large due to a lack of water. Most of the watermelon is occupied by seeds, so there isn't much that can be eaten. Eating it has no effect as it did not grow properly. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 150 days. Grade A. Thunk. Squish. As he stabbed and split the watermelon with his dagger. Wow, it's all seeds. The inside was overwhelmingly full of black seeds compared to the red flesh. The number of seeds remained the same, but the size of the watermelon was smaller. Ajax, let's harvest the watermelons. Okay, Hyung. Sejun called Ajax, who had finished eating all the sunflower seeds, to harvest the watermelons together. Although the size was disappointing, it had already fully grown, so there was no way to make it grow larger. Thus, Sejun and Ajax harvested the watermelon. Then, your slave, Tower Farmer Ajax Mame from the White Tower, has harvested a new variety of watermelon known as the shriveled drought-inducing watermelon. A message appeared in front of Sejun, indicating that Ajax had harvested a new variety. And then, Hyung, I harvested something strange. A slave's achievement is your achievement. You have achieved the feat of creating a new variety in the tower. Due to your job trait, all stats increase by 10 each. You have achieved the feat of creating 21 new varieties in the tower. As a reward for the Tower Farmer's achievement, the prestige of the Black Tower rises. As the prestige surpasses a certain level, the number of entrances to the Black Tower increases by 1. The number of entrances to the Black Tower increases from 106 to 107, with the 107th entrance being created in the safest location. The exclamation from Ajax and the subsequent messages appeared. Ajax, nice. Ajax, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? Pancakes. Ajax's eyes sparkled as he shouted at Sejun's question. Okay, then tonight it's a 10-layer pancake. 10 tiers, wow. Ajax cheered at Sejun's words. A 10-layer pancake, that sounds amazing. That's how Sejun promised Ajax a 10-layer pancake. Let's see. Sejun examined the watermelon harvested by Ajax. From the name, it seemed like there was barely anything left but the rind. Shriveled, drought-inducing watermelon. A mutated watermelon grown inside the Black Tower that couldn't absorb much water and evolved grinding its teeth, vowing to absorb plenty of water in its next life without worrying about others. Planting this watermelon causes a severe drought around it. Most of the watermelon is occupied by seeds, so there isn't much that can be eaten. Eating it has no effect as it did not grow properly. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 150 days. Grade A. It causes a drought. There's nowhere to plant this, right? As soon as Sejun saw the name, he thought it would be difficult to plant this watermelon. Where would one plant a watermelon that causes a drought? While Sejun was lost in thought, Hyung, I've harvested all the watermelons. Let's eat the pancakes quickly. Driven by the desire to eat a 10-layer pancake, Ajax had harvested all the remaining watermelons. Okay, just wait a bit. Sejun stopped pondering and went to the kitchen to make the batter and start cooking the pancakes. Fourth floor of the Black Tower. Pew Hut, the night's sweet potatoes are all sold out, meow. Theo exclaimed after selling all the night's sweet potatoes. What, already? Vice Chairman Theo, don't you have anything else? The hunters asked, filled with disappointment. Pew Hut, that's all for now, meow. See you next time, meow. With the auction over, the hunters lined up again at the vineyard. Clatter, clatter. Then I will go back to growing grapes. Thank you for bringing me here. The king of farming also returned to the vineyard. Pew Hut, let's go back now, meow. Theo was about to climb the tower again with Urin when. Theonim, do you have any debts? Urin, who had been munching on boiled potatoes that Sejun had packed, approached Theo and asked. Considering the amount of money he had given to Theo during their descent from the tower, it was quite a large sum. Yet Urin couldn't understand why Theo, who was working hard to earn money, was doing so. Pew Hut, Urin is a fool, meow. What? After snickering at Urin, Chairman Park said the more money you have, the better, meow. In that sense, hand over more money, meow. Theo boldly stretched out his front paw. What? Hurry up and hand it over, meow. Urin was taken aback by Theo's bold demand. Yes, just a moment. Without any money on him, Urin quickly picked up a stone from the ground and Kwek. Using his talent, Midas's touch, the stone began to turn into gold. Urin, next is this, meow. Theo brought a giant rock to Urin. Pew Hut. It's the giant gold that Chairman Park likes, meow. Okay, let's eat. Sejun stacked 10 pancakes on each plate and placed one in front of everyone. Then, Kyung. Hete 1 2. Kyungi began counting the pancakes from the bottom layer. Ahihi, Veronica, I asked Sejun Hyung to make this. That's impressive, Ajaxnum, you are amazing. Ajax boasted to Veronica that it was his idea for Sejun to make the 10-layer pancakes. And then, Kihili Kayang. I've been treating him well lately, so he's paying attention to me. Fenrir was pleased, looking at the mini 10-layer pancakes made by cutting the pancakes into small pieces. In the meantime, Kyung. 10, there are 10 pancakes here. Kyungi finished counting the stacked pancakes. Thud. Now let's eat. As Sejun placed a jar filled with kudzu honey in the middle. Kyung. Hehe, Dad, thank you for the food. Ahiti, Hyung, thank you for the food. Sejun Nim, thank you for the food. Everyone started eating the pancakes in their own style. Aileen here. Sejun passed pancakes to Aileen and then Num took a bite of a pancake himself. The bread, moistened with honey, melted smoothly in his mouth, spreading the buttery aroma all around his mouth. Just when his mouth was nearly overwhelmed with sweetness and richness. Slurp. A sip of bitter coffee completed the perfect combination. Even though I made it myself, it tastes great. As Sejun was enjoying his dinner, immersed in emotion. Thud. Kaying. Hey, rub my belly for me. After conquering 3 layers of the 10-layer pancakes and giving up, Fenrir struggled to walk up to Sejun and lay down. Our Blackie, you ate a lot today. Sejun rubbed the protruding belly of Fenrir to help him burp. Burp. After about 10 minutes, Fenrir burped comfortably. Thanks to that, what he ate was digested, and his body grew 1.5 times larger. Kihili Kayang. Look at me. I've gotten stronger, haven't I? Fenrir, thrilled by his increased strength, joyously hopped around for about 5 minutes, and Kurorong, then collapsed on the floor and fell asleep. Fenrir was still quite weak. Let's also go to bed early today. Sejun picked up Fenrir, who was sleeping on the floor, and headed home. And then, the next day, Fenrir was in for a big shock. Chapter 348. The Dragon Market VIP is leaving. Blue Tower Administrative Area. Sigh, there's no way around it. Kin Aster, the great leader of the Blue Dragons, sighed heavily. No matter how much he thought about it, there was no way to suppress the water energy of the Blue Tower, especially not with the interference of the Apostle of Destruction. Is that the only option? Having made up his mind, Kin flapped his massive wings and soared towards the territory of the Red Dragons. A short while later, Ramter, give me a few essences of fire. Upon arriving at the Red Dragon's territory, Kin asked Ramter for the essences of fire. Essences of fire, what are you planning to use them for? I'm thinking of using them at the Blue Tower. Kin planned to detonate the essences of fire to suppress the water energy of the Blue Tower. What, are you insane? Ramter was shocked by Kin's words. Water energy and fire energy are antithetical. If the two energies collide, it could devastate the area around them. If they were lucky, it might just be one floor, but in the worst case, multiple floors could be obliterated. It would leave floors completely vacant. I know it's a crazy method, but it's necessary to save the rest. But what is that? Kin noticed the flame beans that Ramter was holding. This. What should I do? Ramter was conflicted. Originally, the Four Dragon Council had a rule not to disclose information about the crops grown by Sejun to other dragons. But with the upcoming launch of the Dragon Market, it would eventually become known to all dragons. Moreover, Sejun had made a promise while preparing the Dragon Market. Those who promote the Dragon Market will receive mileage points that can be used at the Dragon Market. Ramter, who had no interest in the mileage points until the Dragon Market opened, intended to maintain this state. But there's no need to deliberately refuse the coming mileage points. Ramter decided to receive Dragon Market mileage points for once and Kin, this is something that's sold at the Dragon Market. He began promoting the Dragon Market to Kin, which sells crops with various effects. Dragon Market, there's a place that sells such crops. Ramter, tell me where the Dragon Market is. I want to go too. Kin was excited to find crops that could help the Blue Tower. However, the Dragon Market existed only in the minds of Sejun and Theo. It didn't exist yet. No, the Dragon Market only sells crops to authorized members. So Ramter, in haste, claimed it was a membership-only market. His chin lifted, and his voice carried an air of arrogance. He became smug for no reason. Is that so? Kin was greatly disappointed by Ramter's response. But I'll look to see if there are any crops at the Dragon Market that could help the Blue Tower. Really, Ramter, thank you. Ha ha ha, just trust me, prepare some tower coins. The Dragon Market trades with tower coins. Got it, I'll go get them right away. Kin hurried off to gather tower coins and flew back to the Blue Tower. Jiarararar. Erwang. Keikirorong. Sejun's bedroom was filled with the sound of snoring. Then, Kaying. It's cold. Fenrir woke up in the early morning chill. With droopy eyes, he groped with his front paws, looking for a warm place to move to. The place he found was Sejun's pocket. Hey, I'll sleep in his pocket. Fenrir chuckled mischievously as he tried to enter Sejun's pocket, but Kaying. Why won't it fit? Before he would have easily fit, but today he could only get his head and one paw in. It was too tight. Fenrir had grown, making it impossible for him to fit in the pocket anymore. But, Kaying. I can fit because I am the noble wolf Fenrir. Unable to accept reality, Fenrir kept trying to push himself into Sejun's pocket. Rip. As a result, the pocket tore. Kaying. My home. What should I do? Sejun's pocket was his home. The disappearance of that home was a huge shock to Fenrir. and following the shock, he realized he had made a huge mistake. Kaying. He might hate me for breaking home. I better hide. In a hurry to find a hiding place, Fenrir crawled inside Sejun's shirt. He wanted to hide but didn't want to be away from Sejun. Hey, it's warm. Kirorong. Hidden inside Sejun's shirt, Fenrir succumbed to the coziness and dozed off. Urine, where do we go now, meow? Once they left the 4th floor of the tower, Theo asked Urine about their destination. To the 75th floor, there right now. Pew hut, got it, meow, follow me, meow. Theo cut off Urine's words and took the lead. I'll quickly return to Chairman Park, meow. Theonim, let's go together. Urine hurriedly scurried after Theo. On their way to the 75th floor, Theo encountered fragments of Jormungandr 7 times due to Urine's misfortune, earning a huge amount of white coins, and encountered 25 teams of highway robbers, making 1,000 slaves. Pew hut, it's nice to travel with Urine. Theo was happy with the results he could never have achieved alone. Me too. Pew hut, that's right, meow. Know that it's an honor to travel with Vice Chairman Theo, meow. Yes, it's certainly an honor. Pew hut, since it's an honor, give me some gold, meow. Yes. Following Theo's command, Urine picked up a stone and transformed it into gold to give to Theo. For Urine, traveling with Theo was a way to spend much less money. When Urine roamed alone, the money stolen by highway robbers due to threats to his life was several times more than what Theo took from him. Thus, Theo turned Urine's misfortune into his own fortune, taking 6 hours to reach the 75th floor, a journey that should have taken only 1 hour. Pew hut, we've arrived, meow. Theonim, please take me with you next time too. Pew hut, all right, meow. Have lots of money ready, meow. Haha, of course, Theonim, take this. Urine transformed another stone into gold and handed it over. Pew hut, thanks, meow. Theo bid farewell to Urine and quickly moved towards the 99th floor. But what hurt so much? Sejun, who opened his eyes to the pain of his side being ripped off, hurriedly touched his side. Then he felt something mushy inside his clothes. A monster. As Sejun lifted his clothes, he saw Fenrir squirming and sleeping inside, with clear and small bite marks on his side. SSSG. When Fenrir's mouth was compared to the bite marks on the side, they matched exactly. Fenrir had bitten Sejun's side in his sleep. Fortunately, Fenrir's biting force was weak. His teeth were dragon teeth. If he had made a mistake, his side would have been ripped off and he would have almost died. Damn it, Blackie. How dare he hurt me? Sunfish Sejun's pride was bruised by the fact that he felt threatened for his life by a super sunfish. So, Sejun began to tickle Fenrir. Kaikihihit. Fenrir, who woke up from his sleep laughing uncontrollably at Sejun's tickling. Kaying. Keep going, it's fun. Forgetting what he had done at dawn and how he had hidden in Sejun's clothes, he played excitedly. Then, why is this torn? Sejun discovered his pocket, which was ripped and fluttering. Kaying. That's right. I need to hide. Fenrir hurriedly ran away. However, thud. With his thudding steps, he couldn't run far and ended up signaling to Sejun, I'm the culprit. Grab. Culprit arrested. Kaying. Why did I get caught when I ran so fast? Fenrir couldn't understand why he was caught. When Sejun faced Fenrir and they locked eyes. Kaying. Why are you looking at me? Fenrir, with a guilty conscience, turned his head to avoid Sejun's gaze. Where do you think you're looking? Sejun also turned his head to meet Fenrir's eyes again. Kaying. Stop looking at me. The struggle continued between Fenrir trying to avoid eye contact and Sejun trying to make eye contact. Kaying. I didn't mean to do it, I'm sorry. Finally, Fenrir admitted his fault. Good, since you're showing a remorseful attitude, I'll forgive you. Sejun set Fenrir down and took out a needle and thread to mend the torn pocket. Kaying. Hey, make it a bit bigger. I can't fit in there anymore. Having regained his confidence, Fenrir demanded that Sejun make the pocket larger. Blackie, wait, let me finish this and then we'll play. Of course, Sejun couldn't understand Fenrir's words and repaired the pocket as it was. As a result of this miscommunication, Rip! Fenrir tried to put his head into Sejun's pocket and tore it again. Kaying. Hey, why didn't you make it bigger? Why didn't you make it bigger, why? This time, Fenrir was actually angry, feeling justified as he had mentioned it, but Sejun hadn't listened. You wanted to get into the pocket. Realizing what Fenrir wanted, Sejun took out some unused clothes, cut them up, and sewed a sling bag large enough for Fenrir. Here, get in. When Sejun opened the entrance to the sling bag, plop! Fenrir quickly jumped in. Kaying. I like this, you did well. Fenrir praised Sejun. The bag was more spacious than the pocket and more comfortable to lie in. As Sejun stepped outside with Fenrir in the sling bag, has our Sejun awakened? Ramter came looking for Sejun. Yes, hello Ramternim. Right, this time Right, I've got something to say. I was speaking to Kin, the leader of the Blue Dragons. Ramter spoke in a quiet voice so other dragons couldn't hear, telling Sejun he had promised to look for crops for the Blue Tower at the Dragon Market. Ramternum, thank you. I was worried about not having a place to plant watermelons, but there's a place that's troubled because of too much water. Sejun inwardly cheered and expressed his gratitude to Ramter. It's nothing but Sejun, what about the mileage? Oh, of course I'll provide it. I'll give you 10 billion mileage. Just so you know, 1 mileage equals 1 tower coin. Oh, so I've got 10 billion tower coins. Ramter grinned widely at Sejun's words. Yes, and with 10 billion mileage, you can buy a 30-day trial VIP membership at the Dragon Market. Dragon Market VIP membership, what is that? Sounds very impressive. As a Dragon Market VIP member, you get a higher status than regular members, which gives you the right to purchase crops before others. Sejun explained the benefits of being a Dragon Market VIP. Higher status than other dragons. I'll buy it. The 30-day trial membership for Dragon Market VIP membership. Enticed by the idea of having a higher status than other dragons, Ramter became the first dragon to become a Dragon Market VIP member. Haha, money saved. Sejun effortlessly recouped the 10 billion mileage. Here's the contract. Sejun handed Ramter a contract that had to be adhered to in exchange for receiving watermelon seeds from Kin. Got it, I'll convey this to Kin. The Dragon Market VIP is leaving. Ramter flew off quickly to brag to other dragons. As Ramter left, Ajax, harvest the sun-dried red peppers. Okay, Hyung, leave it to me. After asking Ajax to harvest the sun-dried red peppers grown with the harvest elixir from yesterday, Sejun went to harvest blueberries. Upon reaching the spot with 10 blueberry trees, Sejun stood in front of a blueberry tree that had absorbed the harvest elixir and grown taller than the others. Then, plug, as he picked a blueberry. You have harvested a magical blueberry. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. Messages appeared. Magical blueberry. Grown inside the Black Tower, this blueberry is tasty as it has fully absorbed nutrients. Consuming it increases your magic power by 1 for 10 minutes. The effects can stack up to 10 times within an hour. If the power of the blue moon is sufficiently absorbed, a special effect will be added. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 150 days. Grade A. Like magical cherry tomatoes and magical peanuts, this crop increases magic power by 1 for 10 minutes. The difference is that it gains a special effect if it absorbs the power of the blue moon. This is the first time I've seen something like this. With the blue moon rising in 12 days, Sejun decided to check what additional effects would occur when that time comes, and started harvesting the blueberries when Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. Theo flew toward Sejun's face. Chapter 349. Heh, there's someone scared of me. Theo came flying. I can't dodge this anyway. Sejun knew that with his abilities, he couldn't avoid Theo. Even if he tried to dodge, he would just hear a pew-hut as Theo would mock him once, then change direction midair and eventually cling to his face. Swoosh! Just before Theo clung to his face. Now, he quickly turned his head, deciding to offer the back of his head instead of his face. But, pew-hut! With an ominous chuckle, Sejun felt Theo's body heat all over his face. It was warm. You are here. Sejun grabbed Theo by the nape as he said this. Still, thanks to Theo's talent, strong fur, he didn't get any hair in his mouth. 2. I see, so they doesn't come off completely after all. Pew-hut. That's right, meow. As Chairman Park ordered, I safely escorted the king of farming to the 4th floor of the tower, meow. That's good, well done. I know, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo always do well, meow. That's right. Sejun's playful mood slightly rose seeing Theo's arrogant attitude, but since he worked hard to go up to the 4th floor. Thinking of Theo's hard work, he held it in. Vice Chairman Theo, take a break for a bit. Okay, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo clung to Sejun's knees and vigorously rubbed his face against them. Pew-hut. Did you miss me, not being on Chairman Park's lap, meow? And then, plop. You have harvested magical blueberries. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. Sejun started harvesting blueberries. 30 minutes later. Done. Sejun finished harvesting the blueberries. There were only 1,000 blueberries, so it didn't take long. Then, Hyung, I'm done too. Ajax flew to Sejun with his arms full of sundried red peppers. Ajax, good job. Sejun praised Ajax and patted his head. Ahitty, yeah. As Sejun was petting Ajax. Chairman Park, I did well too, meow. Theo grabbed Sejun's hand that was petting Ajax's head and lifted it above his own head. Eek, what are you doing? Pew-hut, I worked harder than Ajax, meow. Although Ajax glared angrily, Theo confidently spoke his mind. Hey, Ajax is a dragon. Swish. Sejun quickly stroked Ajax's head with his other hand and comforted Ajax. At that moment, Kaying. Hey, get that hand off. I said that hand is mine. Fenrir barked angrily, disliking that Sejun was petting someone else. But, Blackie, are you hungry? Here. Sejun, unable to understand Fenrir's words, quietly slipped a dried sweet potato into Fenrir's mouth. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Fenrir quickly quieted down. This time, he decided to let it go generously. It's absolutely not because of the dried sweet potato. Soon after, Gorarong, Arilorong, Killarong. The three of them fell asleep on Sejun's lap, shoulder and chest. With his hands free. Snap! Sejun picked a sundried red pepper and took a bite. He was curious about the taste. It's spicy but tasty. It wasn't a painful spiciness but a deliciously spicy one, an addictive spiciness. It would really taste great if made into gochujang. After swallowing all the sundried red pepper, you have consumed a sundried red pepper. If you get enough light, one of your stats will randomly increase by 5. A message appeared that the stats would increase if enough light was absorbed. That will be easy, haha. You have obtained 201 sundried red pepper seeds. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in seed harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. Sejun hummed a tune and sat in a sunny spot, beginning to harvest the seed of the sundried red peppers. Ajax harvested 300 sundried red peppers. Of these, 50 were set aside for cooking, and the remaining 250 were seeded. when Sejun had seeded about 200 sundried red peppers. Due to the effect of seed harvesting LV. 8. The number of seeds obtained has increased fourfold. You have obtained 800 sundried red pepper seeds. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in seed harvesting LV. 8 has slightly increased. The effect of the seed harvesting skill, which has a low chance to produce 2 to 5 times the seeds, was triggered, increasing the number of seeds obtained. 4 times hehe. Sejun smiled contentedly at the message. Your soul feels fulfilled. Mental strength has increased by 1. Thanks to this, his mental strength also increased. Once the sundried red pepper seeding was completed. SSSRK. You have planted sundried red peppers in soil imbued with magic power. Your job experience have slightly increased. Due to sundried red peppers listening to the sound of the farmer's footsteps, their growth speed had doubled for 24 hours with the effect of magic seed sowing LV. 8. Due to the effect of magic seed sowing LV. 8. The chances of obtaining a new variety increases 5-fold. Your proficiency in magic seed sowing LV. 8 has slightly increased. Sejun immediately began planting 50,000 sundried red pepper seeds. 99th floor of the Red Tower. Udon, plant these flame beans in areas heavily affected by desertification. Yes, Ramternim. Udon responded without a hint of doubt to Ramter's command. Planting beans in land that has become desert. The old Udon would have doubted it a little, even if it was the words of the great red dragon. However, Udon, while drying a pair of strength and stamina, came to believe that Ramter's words could never be wrong. Hurry along now. Yes, Ramternum, I will go and plant the flame beans. Like that, Udon went down to the 48th floor of the tower, an area with severe desertification, to plant the flame beans. You guys hunt the nearby cactuses. Yes. He had his subordinates hunt the nearby cactuses, and thud. Udon dug the soil, put in the flame beans, and covered the soil again. Then, you have planted Beanie's flame beans. You have planted crops in an area with a lot of fire energy. The environment is very compatible with Beanie's flame beans. The growth speed of Beanie's flame beans increases. Your job experience have greatly increased. Your tower farmer grade has increased from D to C. You have become a tower farmer C. As your job grade increases, job traits are enhanced. Your proficiency in seed sowing LV. 3 has greatly increased. Your proficiency in seed sowing LV. 3 has filled and the level has increased. Messages appeared. Well, Udon was astonished by the messages. All this time, due to the high fiery conditions, only about 1 in 1,000 crops Udon planted would properly take root. Thus, Udon could not grow as a tower farmer. But now, his stagnant job grade and the level of his seed sowing skill had instantly increased. Shortly after, having planted all 50 flame beans and his seed sowing skill leveling up twice more, Udon. Ha, my seed sowing skill reached level 5. It gained the effect of reducing the probability of pest damage. You guys, you dare to covet Ramternum's flame bean field. Today, feeling unusually light, Udon swung a massive battle axe at the cactus approaching the flame bean field. To be exact, it was Sejun's flame bean field, but Udon didn't know the details of the contract. It's almost done now. Sejun looked at the few remaining sundried red pepper seeds and planted them. Then, you have planted sundried red peppers in soil imbued with magic power. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in magic seed sowing LV. 8 has slightly increased. Your proficiency in magic seed sowing LV. 8 has filled and the level has increased. Messages appeared. Magic seed sowing skill became the first among Sejun's job skills to reach level 9. Among all the skills, it was second only to the cooking skill. What's changed? Sejun, hopping something had changed, checked the magic seed sowing skill. Job skill magic seed sowing LV. 9. The probability of seeds germinating when planted is greatly increased. The probability of suffering damage from pests is greatly reduced. If magic power is infused into the soil and seeds are planted, the growth speed of the seeds is doubled for 24 hours. If the seeds are personally planted by hand, the probability of obtaining a new variety increases fivefold. This does not apply to tenant farmers. The energy of the tower farmer who planted the seeds remains in the crops, scaring monsters and preventing them from approaching. Scare monsters? It's kind of vague. It seemed like a decent effect, but it was vague. No, it was vague because it was him. Would monsters really be scared of my energy? Then, no, there is someone scared of me. One being came to Sejun's mind. There was, the weakest one on the 99th floor of the tower who would be scared even of his energy. Thud. Sejun excitedly dug the ground to plant sundried red peppers. Good. And took out Fenrir, who was squirming and sleeping in his sling bag. Keving. Kaying. Is it time to eat? Fenrir, blissfully unaware, stretched and asked as he woke up. Sorry, I'll feed you after checking this. Sejun apologized to Fenrir in advance and set him down next to the sundried red pepper he had just planted. Then, Pababek. Fenrir dug with his front paws and gulped down the seeds of the sundried red pepper that Sejun had just planted. Instead of being scared, he eats them. Sejun was so surprised. So he didn't even think to question whether dogs could eat peppers. Kia-hit. Thump thump. Fenrir, having eaten the sundried red pepper seeds, joyfully ran around the field. Kia-hit K-King. It's my core energy. As Sejun's energy seeped into the sundried red pepper seeds, some of Fenrir's core energy that was in Sejun's body also seeped in together. That's why he wasn't scared. However, my energy is only this much. Unaware of this, Sejun felt frustrated that his energy couldn't even scare Fenrir, and he planted more sundried red peppers. And, Kia-hit. Pababek. Fenrir energetically followed Sejun, digging up and eating the sundried red pepper seeds filled with Sejun's energy. Kaying. I've eaten too much, I'm sleepy. Of course, the frail Fenrir, after eating 5 sundried red pepper seeds, collapsed and fell asleep in the field. Why is he sleeping here? Sejun, having finished planting all the sundried red pepper seeds, picked up Fenrir, who was sprawled on the dirt, dusted off the dirt from his fur, and put him back into the sling bag. Red Tower Administrative Area. Ramter had instructed Udon to plant flame beans. Returning to the administrative area, Ramter waited for Kin to come back with tower coins. Puhahaha. The others are probably busy going around other towers trying to become VIPs at the Dragon Market, right? But why isn't Kin coming? Just as Ramter was starting to feel bored. Ramter, I've brought the tower coins. Kin appeared. Good, first take a look at this. Ramter showed Kin the contract written by Sejun. Shortly after, Ramter, are there really such watermelons? Kin, reading the contract, asked with an incredulous expression. The options for watermelons that absorb water and cause severe droughts. Since deception isn't possible in a contract. If the contract was as written, removing the water from the blue tower was only a matter of time. Yeah, here. Oh, it's real. Excited, Kin looked at the seeds Ramter showed him. First, finish reading the contract. Okay. At Ramter's words, Kin finished reading the rest of the contract. In exchange for planting the watermelons, the price set was 100,000 tower coins per seed for the water-absorbing watermelon seeds, and 10 million tower coins per seed for the drought-inducing watermelon seeds. Although the contract stipulated that all harvested watermelons must be returned to the Dragon Market. From Kin's perspective, as long as it could remove the water, there was no significant loss. All right, let's make the contract. Kin stamped the contract with his seal. You won't regret this. Here, With 20,000 water-absorbing watermelon seeds and 100 drought-inducing watermelon seeds, that's a total of 3 billion tower coins. Here it is. Kin handed over 3 billion tower coins to Ramter and received the watermelon seeds. He hurried back to the blue tower to test the effects of the watermelon seeds. Zelga, plant these seeds on the 70th floor of the tower. He gave the watermelon seeds to Zelga, the tower farmer of the blue tower, to plant. Following Kin's instructions, Zelga arrived on the 70th floor. Will planting these change anything? On the 70th floor of the blue tower, Zelga grumbled while looking at the gloomy sky that never stopped raining and the vast lake that had swallowed the land. But since Kinham told me to plant them. With no land to plant in, Zelga simply dropped a watermelon seed into the water. Then, you have planted a drought-inducing watermelon seed. The drought-inducing watermelon seed absorbs water without regard for others. Messages appeared, and in an instant the surrounding sea disappeared. Chapter 350. Do you also want to seek asylum? Zelga witnessed the scene of the sea disappearing in an instant. Oh my goodness! He was speechless for a moment before he finally managed to utter a word. And he looked over the ground, which had been the sea until now. He saw mountains and plains that had been submerged in water, and at his feet there was a yellow watermelon with black stripes that had swallowed the sea. 10 watermelons, each 3 meters in size. Although they were much larger than ordinary watermelons, they were too small considering the amount of water that had made up the sea. The shriveled, drought-inducing watermelons had stopped absorbing water, having fully grown. It was really fortunate. Otherwise, as their name suggested, a great drought would have hit the 70th floor of the blue tower. Clicking. Zelga descended from the sky and stood in front of the watermelons. Let's harvest them first. Poppy. When Zelga cut the stem of a watermelon. You have harvested a plump, drought-inducing watermelon. Your job experience have slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV7 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. The harvesting message appeared. Plumpy. To think it swallowed the whole sea and only became plump. Zelga was puzzled and checked the watermelon's options. Plump, drought-inducing watermelon. This is a mutated watermelon that has evolved in the Black Tower, grown inside Blue Tower, unable to absorb much water. It vowed to evolve by gritting its teeth so that, in its next life, it will absorb lots of water without caring about others. Planting this watermelon causes a severe drought in the surrounding area. It has absorbed a lot of water and is very satisfied. When eaten plump, its effects increase by 100%. Consuming it increases all stats by 20. Consuming it has a low chance of awakening and enhancing water-related talents. Consuming it prevents you from getting thirsty for 2 months. Grower, Blue Tower's tower farmer Zelga. Shelf life, 150 days. Grade A. Consuming it increases all stats by 20 and has a low chance of awakening and enhancing water-related talents. Not bad, but all that water absorbed, and this is it. And why would I need the effect of not being thirsty for 2 months? Zelga was dismayed by the rather trivial options. Should I try to enhance its medicinal effects with alchemy? Thus, he decided to use his specialty, alchemy. Thud. Zelga took out a compressor to extract the essence of the watermelon. Then, crunch. The watermelon, its rind and flesh, was crushed and sucked into the compressor. And you have stolen 1 drought-inducing watermelon. According to the terms of the contract, a penalty of 10 billion tower coins is charged to Kin Astor. A message about the breach of contract appeared. He had breached the terms that required all harvested watermelons to be returned to the dragon market. What a penalty for a single watermelon, how petty. Angered by the message, Zelga remarked, since it's come to this, I might as well plan a whole bunch of them. Now having become a watermelon thief, Zelga. Tug. Thinking there was no big difference between stealing 1 or 2 watermelons, he stole another and extracted its seeds. Since he had paid the penalty, the stolen watermelons were his. Naturally, he believed the seeds from his watermelon were also his. At that moment, as he went down to the 69th floor and planted the seed of the drought-inducing watermelon. You have planted a seed of drought-inducing watermelon. The drought-inducing watermelon seed absorbs water without regard for others. You have unlawfully planted a crop of the Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun without permission. According to the Tower's laws, Blue Tower's Tower Farmer Zelga will become a slave of the Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun for the next 100 years. As the sea disappeared, so did Zelga's freedom. What? I'm a slave to the Black Tower's Tower Farmer. Panic-stricken by the message, Zelga was called out by Kin. Zelga, what have you done? Come up here right now. Kin, enraged by the 20 billion tower coin debt and the slave message, summoned Zelga. Ah, this is nice. Sejun, having finished planting the sundried red peppers, lay on the stone platform basking in the sun. Around Sejun, Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, and Fenrir were also lying down, lazily basking in the sunlight. Then, you have received enough light. Your strength increases by 5 due to the effect of the sundried red pepper. Hell, I'm happy. Sejun smiled contentedly as he read the message. Hut, Chairman Park, I'm happy too, meow. Theo, who had been dozing off on Sejun's lap in the warm sun, said with a face full of happiness. Kyung. Kyungi is happy too, but Kyungi would be even more happier with some snacks. Really? Then should we make our Kyungi even happier? Kyung. Yes, please. Hyung, I think I'd be happy with some snacks too. Ajax quickly shouted out, worried that only Kyungi would receive snacks. All right, let's have some snacks, Ajax. Clank. Sejun opened his void storage and took out various snacks. In addition to the official snacks of the 99th floor of the Black Tower, such as dried sweet potatoes, there were also dried persimmons, crispy dried banana chips, and chewy garidiok. And so snack time began. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi is so happy. Hyung, I'm so happy too. Kayang. 4 snacks, what's the occasion today? Kyungi, Ajax, and Fenrir ate the snacks with happy expressions. They're eating well. As Sejun watched the 3 of them with a satisfied expression. Your soul feels fulfilled with overflowing happiness. Mental strength increases by 1. His mental strength increased as well. Tab. Chairman Park, give me some snacks too, meow. All right. I was wondering why you were staying still. As Sejun scooped some churu with a spoon and brought it in front of Theo. Slurp. Theo licked the churu deliciously. Hut, I'm happy, meow, as expected from Chairman Park, meow. Your soul feels fulfilled with infinite trust towards you. Mental strength increases by 1. Oh, mental strength has increased again. Yes, I'm happy too. At that moment, Blue Tower's Tower Farmer Zelga has stolen 1 drought-inducing watermelon. A message appeared, stating that a watermelon had been stolen. Steal, I specifically set a high penalty to keep it from being taken. According to the contract, 10 billion tower coins have been received from Kin Aster as a penalty. Thud. It seems that Zelga from the Blue Tower thought Sejun's happiness was lacking and gave him money. Blue Tower's Tower Farmer Zelga has stolen 1 drought-inducing watermelon. According to the contract, 10 billion tower coins have been received from Kin Aster as a penalty. Twice at that. Thank you. Sejun happily picked up the tower coins that had fallen to the ground. But it has been confirmed that the Blue Tower's Tower Farmer Zelga has planted a drought-inducing watermelon without permission. As if to say that he shouldn't be so happy too soon, an even bigger gift came. According to the laws of the tower, a tower farmer who has planted a crop with exclusive cultivation rights without permission must work under the holder of those rights for 100 years. According to the laws of the tower, the Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun will now have the Blue Tower's tower farmer Zelga as his slave for the next 100 years. The Blue Tower's tower farmer Zelga became Sejun's fourth tower farmer slave. No, I could stop being happy now, hehe. Laughter of happiness burst forth naturally. According to the job trait, you borrow 0.2% of the Blue Tower's tower farmer Zelga's stats. Your strength increases by 11, stamina by 16, agility by 6, and magic power by 14. Thanks to that, his stats also increased. Zelga is quite weak, huh? Sejun spoke in a slightly disappointed tone upon seeing the modest increase in stats. Of course, Zelga was definitely stronger than him, but this level wouldn't even make Sejun faint if he stood in front. Should we see his face? Guys, gather around. Before summoning Zelga, Sejun called Theo, Kyungi, Ajax, and Veronica to prepare for any unforeseen circumstances. And then, summon slave number 4. Sejun summoned Zelga. Summoning Blue Tower's tower farmer Zelga. The message appeared, but even after 10 seconds and 20 seconds passed, Zelga didn't show up. It was because of the distance between the Black Tower and the Blue Tower. After another 30 seconds passed. Kinim, I am sorry, I am so sorry. Zelga was summoned in a state of prostrating himself before the great blue dragon, Kin, begging for forgiveness. Poor guy. I should treat him well. But where is that fishy smell coming from? As Sejun was looking for the source of the smell. Pad. Do you also want to seek asylum? Veronica, feeling a sense of camaraderie, patted Zelga on the back and suggested asylum. The Black Dragon's territory. Kahaha, it's done. Kaiser, who had been focusing all his attention on eliminating the destruction inside Fenrir's core, opened his eyes. Since he had to remove exactly 0.25% of Fenrir's 1% power contained in the core, he had no room to spare to move the statue and had to concentrate. Kaiser, who had removed precisely 0.25% of the power of destruction. Swoosh! He swept up the tower coins that had fallen on the floor after removing the power of destruction. Good, exactly 250 billion tower coins. Kaiser smiled, satisfied with his precise calculation. Then, I'm envious. Brachio, who had been watching from the side and not leaving, spoke enviously. Hey, Brachio, I told you to go back already. Kaiser yelled at Brachio, who had been lingering around for days despite being told to leave. So just hurry up and tell Sejun about me. No way, then Aileen would be mad at me. Do it. No. While Kaiser and Brachio were bickering. What, Dragon Market VIP, what is that? Kaiser, who had been handing over Fenrir's core to Tyr, the next in line, heard the new news. And then, the great black dragon, lower ranked than Ramter, unacceptable. Brachio, just wait, I'll talk to Sejun for you. Upon the shocking news, Kaiser changed his mind. Even if he got a little scolded by Aileen, he decided to promote the dragon market to Brachio and make himself a VIP. Of course, first, he would have to calm Sejun's anger towards Brachio. Kaiser moved the black dragon statue and hurriedly went to find Sejun. Meanwhile, Chrysella, I'll give you a chance to trade with the dragon market. Artemis, is there a problem with the tower? There's this thing called dragon market. They have various crops. Following Ramter, Kellyan and Tyr were visiting the Silver Tower and the Gold Tower to promote the dragon market and become the next VIPs of the dragon market. Oh, this is really delicious. Zelga took off his hood and ate the potato that Sejun gave him as a gesture of comfort. And then, so it was him. Sejun could finally identify the source of the fishy smell. The figure of Zelga, with his hood removed, was that of a merman, a fish with arms and legs. Eat a lot. Yes. At Sejun's words, Zelga began to eat the potatoes vigorously. Puhuhut, Zelga, eat a lot, meow. Yes, thank you. Normally indifferent to others eating, Theo, for some reason, recommended the food with a pleased expression. And then, pew hew hud. Theo wagged his tail and his eyes sparkled as he watched Zelga eating deliciously. It was very suspicious. It looks like he's going to cause trouble. As Sejun looked at Theo uneasily. Pew hew hut, Chairman Park, can't we make grilled fish out of that guy, meow? Theo approached Sejun and whispered quietly so Zelga couldn't hear. I knew it. No. Got it, meow. Theo quickly gave up at Sejun's firm response. That's right, Chairman Park, take this, meow. Suddenly, he pulled out money from his bundle. Money received from urine and items obtained from the Cayman Kingdom poured out. Hell, I'm happy. Sejun smiled as he looked at the wealth Theo had poured out. Today was a day overflowing with happiness. Just then, Sejun, Kaiser flew in to deliver another piece of happiness to Sejun.